missed some screen that I'm supposed to shut off. But otherwise, we are going to go ahead and get started here. So let me know, Vicky, can you let me know when it shows up?
We are on YouTube now.
Perfect. All right.
Sweet.
All right. And it is still going live. All right, well, welcome to our reading of Marvel's The Avengers by Joss Whedon, the first of the 4 Avenger film scripts. And we're going to start with a brief set of introductions and then jump right in because it's a nice long script. So when I call out your name, if you could tell us your name, your personal pronouns, where you're at, what character or characters you're reading, and where people can find you on social media if they are so inclined to do so. So starting with player 1, which I believe is Ben.
Cool. Hi everyone, I'm Ben Wan. I am from I'm over in California in LA. I am happy to be here. Last time I was Neckbeard the Pirate. This time I am Colonel Nick Fury. So I guess I'm starting to get typecast as guys with eye patches. I don't know what's up with that, but we'll see. And I don't have a Samuel L. Jackson impression, so instead I'm just saying picture it's classic Nick Fury as played by Clint Eastwood in the 80s. So that's why I have that as my background. So I'll be playing Nick Fury, be playing a Russian dude, a lot of faceless pilots, and if we get to the end, Stan Lee, true believers. But we'll see. In the meantime, I am the co-host of Superhero Stuff You Should Know, a podcast, and I'm also a comic book writer, and currently have a comic book called Alter Ego now that is available on Amazon. And thanks for having me.
Awesome. We're glad to have you here. And excited to hear you. I gave you Stan Lee specifically because of your comic book.
Appreciate it.
Let's see, player 2, let's go to Tamir.
Hi, my name is Tamir. I'm based in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and I'll be reading mostly Agent Phil Coulson and some other characters. I have social media, but I don't really use it. Him, he, that's me. Thanks.
All right, excellent. Let's see, we'll skip down to Jackson and then Aubrey.
Hello, I'm Jackson Gray. I will be playing Loki, God of Mischief, Son of Odin, today, and some other characters. I am in Central Alberta. Central Alberta, and you can find me on basically any platform. Go by any pronouns. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. And Aubrey, and then let's go down to Karen.
Hi, I'm Aubrey. I don't really care what my pronouns are. You can call me whatever you like. And I am an actress and a musician slash composer, singer from California. And I have music out on, just getting this all out of the way. I have music out on Spotify. You can also find me on YouTube under KCP and some other ones. I also am what I'm reading today is reading descriptions. I'm also doing Pepper Potts and Natasha Romanoff. And then a couple of other smaller parts. So I'm just glad to be here.
All right. Karen and then Tori.
I am Karen Sedestrom Newton. My pronouns are she and her. I am coming to you live today from Berkeley, California. What else were we supposed to say? The socials. You can find me on Facebook under Karen Sedestrom Newton. I am also codename Finlandia on Instagram. If you like pictures of nature, you should follow me on Instagram because I go for a lot of walks and I take pictures of a lot of flowers and trees and whatnot. Today I am Captain Steve Rogers and also the other.
Awesome. And Tori and then Vicky.
Hi, my name is Tori. I am in South Carolina, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I will be reading for Tony Stark and a little bit of Barton, a little bit of House of Scientist, little smattering of others as we go along. And social media, you can find me. My biggest one that I use is TikTok for book information. I actually share a lot of book reviews and everything. So if you're interested in reading, follow me at Lori Pastis on TikTok.
Awesome. And Vicky?
Hi, I'm Vicky Dykes. I'm from Central Alberta, way up here in Canada. My pronouns are she, her. You can find me on Facebook under the name Vicky Dykes, and I'm on Instagram. I'm YogaGramma10. I'm also a professional improviser. Our group is Improv Jelly. And I'm also a yoga enthusiast, and I'm recording a show. Someday it'll be done, Lord knows when. And today I am reading for Thor and actions and descriptions in a couple of spots and a smattering of other characters.
Awesome. And we'll have another person joining us hopefully later, Heather Lee Cameron. So you'll hear her introduction at the end, but she'll be playing the bulk of Bruce Banner and the Hulk when she gets here. Meanwhile, Jackson will be taking over until she gets in. And I am Catherine Wilson, she, her pronouns, out of Gig Harbor, Washington. And today I'll be reading primarily actions and descriptions, as well as Maria Hill, parts of Hawkeye and Jarvis, and a few small characters in addition to that. So we've had a lot of last minute line assignments, so we may end up having to cue a few of those as we go along.
Heather is here.
Oh, Heather is here. Hi,
You
Heather.
all hear me?
Yes, we were just finishing up introductions. If you want to introduce yourself.
Hello. My name is Heather Lee Cameron. I'm an actor, I'm a writer, a published screenwriter, published writer, freelance journalist, voice actor, independent filmmaker. I live in Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. Tonight, I shall be reading The Other, Bruce Banner, the Hulk, Peggy Carter, Pepper Potts, and Reporter.
Awesome.
It's been a while since I've been here. I'm sorry, work got insane for a little while. But I'm so happy to be here because the Avengers are fun.
They absolutely.
And I'm so happy to see you all again.
All right. Well, since it's a long script, we're going to go ahead here and get started.
So Pepper Potts is now going to be transferred over back to Heather. Yes?
Sorry.
That's okay.
That's okay.
The
Fine.
other. Let me find out where my script just now. Yes. Okay. And we'll go ahead and share our screen and get going here.
I mean, do you want it? I can give it to you. Do you want it?
Oh, it's totally fine. It's absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Just wanted to make sure that I had it, because I was set to. She had given the part to me, so I just wanted to make sure.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I was working. I had to work on something, but that only took 5 minutes. So I'm here now.
Okay.
Oh, frick, it blew up. Oh, there we go.
All right. Let's
Anyway.
see. Is that large enough for folks, or should we leave it a little larger?
A little bigger, maybe.
How's that?
That's better.
Yeah, that'll work.
Make it a little larger too. If that's even nicer.
Sure.
All right, so we'll get started here with our action descriptions with Aubrey. Go ahead and take it away when you're ready.
All right. Marvel's The Avengers, written by Joss Whedon. Story by Zach Penn and Joss Whedon. Based on the characters appearing in the comic books published by Marvel Comics. Attention, unknown area of space. Space, a floating staircase among the rocks. The other speaks to a disembodied figure in a chair.
The Tesseract has awakened. It is on a little world, a human world. They would wield its power.
The other hands Loki a scepter with a glowing blue gem.
But our ally knows its workings as they never will. He is ready to lead, and our force.
The Chitauri puts on their face masks and get ready.
Our Chitauri will follow. The world will be his, the universe yours, and the humans. What can they do but Burn.
A 3D model of the Tesseract. We move inside it slowly. Exterior mountain range, early night. A helicopter speeds over this mountain at high speed. The camera pans up over the mountain and we see exterior, shield, NASA facility, continuous. This base is grand beyond belief. There is a frantic evacuation in progress. Agents, scientists, and personnel rush around the base frantically.
All personnel, evacuation order has been confirmed. Proceed to your designated vehicles.
A man flushes people by. The sign on the building reads, joins Dark Energy Mission, Western Division, Project Pegasus, NASA Space Radiation Facility, SHIELD. Accelerator Test Facility.
For all campus evacuation.
Security guards direct traffic. SHIELD agents assist personnel, some staff, the trunks of their cars, and leave the campus.
This is not a drill. Emergency personnel, please proceed to your designated vehicles for all campus evacuation.
The helicopter slows above. Exterior, landing pad, SHIELD, NASA facility, continuous. There's a man in suit waiting. This is Agent Phil Coulson. Apologies. On the chopper, the door slides open. Out comes a female. This is Agent Marie Hill. Following behind her is Nick Fury. Fury and Hill walk over to Coulson.
How bad is it?
That's the problem, sir. We don't know.
Interior elevator shaft. Moments later, early night. An elevator rushes down. It's going fast.
Dr. Selvig, read on.
Interior lower level, continuous. Coulson, Fury, and Hill make their way through the crowd, evacuating personnel.
Energy surge from the Tesseract 4 hours ago.
NASA didn't authorize Selvig to go to test B.
He wasn't testing it. He wasn't even in the room. Spontaneous event.
It just turned itself on?
Where are the energy levels now?
Climbing. When Selvig couldn't shut it down, we ordered it evac.
How long to get everyone out?
Campus should be clear in the next half hour.
Do better.
Fury and Hill continue on as Coulson turns around and hurries the other way. Interior staircase. Moments later, early night. Fury and Hill make their way down to the lower levels.
Their evacuation may be futile.
We should tell them to go back to sleep.
If we can't control the Tesseract's energy, there may not be a minimum safe distance.
I need you to make sure the Phase 2 prototypes are shipped out.
Sir, is that really a priority right now?
Until such time as the world ends, we will act as though it intends to spin on. Clear out the tech below, every piece of Phase 2, on a truck, and gone.
Yes, sir. With me.
Fury enters the Tesseract room. Interior, Tesseract chamber room. Continuous, early night. Fury makes his way over to Eric Selvig.
Talk to me, Doctor.
Director,
Is there anything we know for certain?
the Tesseract is misbehaving.
Is that supposed to be funny?
No, it's not funny at all. The Tesseract is not only active, she's misbehaving.
How soon can you pull the plug?
She's an energy source. We turn off the power, she turns it back on. If she reaches peak level,
We prepared for this, Doctor. Harnessing energy from space.
we don't have the harness. My calculations are far from complete. She's throwing off interference radiation, nothing harmful, low levels of gamma radiation.
That can be harmful. Where's Agent Barton?
The hawk? Up in his nest as usual.
Clint Barton, also known as Hawkeye, is on a balcony observing the lab.
Agent Barton, report.
Barton ziplines down a rope.
I gave you this detail so you could keep a close eye on things.
Fury and Barton walk together toward the Tesseract machine.
I see better from a distance.
Have you seen anything that might set this thing off?
The NASA scientist calls for Selvig.
Doctor, it's spiking again.
Barton and Fury step onto the platform in front of the Tesseract machine.
No one's gone. And Selvig's clean. No contacts, no IM. There wasn't any tampering, sir. It wasn't this end.
While Barton is talking, Selvig walks over to the computer where the NASA scientist is. He looks concerned and worried.
At this end?
Yes, the cube is a doorway to the other end of space, right? Doors open from both sides.
The cube sparks.
What's that?
It sparks again. Exterior behind a truck. Same, early night. Coulson stands. The grounds of the campus shakes. He grabs the truck. Interior security level 4, same. Will turns and looks at her, hearing a creaking noise, and the building shakes. Interior, Tesseract chamber room, continuous. The cube sparks some more, bigger this time. A beam of energy which opens into a portal. There's an explosion. A could from the beam, I'm guessing that's a typo. A could from the beam floats to the top of the chamber. From the platform is Loki, god of mischief and lies, kneeling. Several guards move in slowly. Tied on Loki, he looks up, grinning menacingly. She stands. Dolly in, Fury and Barton stare in shock. On Selvig, he is in awe and horror. Loki looks around. Fury is ready to act.
Sir, please put down the spear.
Loki looks at his scepter, then fires a stream of blue light from it. Barton pushes Fury out of the way. The guards open fire. Loki jumps at them, firing more energy and fighting, shooting scientists and agents. Barton moves towards him, and Loki grabs his arm.
You have heart.
Loki touches the tip of the spear to Barton's chest, and his eyes become ice blue. He puts the gun away. Loki moves on to another agent and does the same as he does to Barton. Fury pulls the cube from the machine it was in and shuts it in a briefcase, then moves to leave.
Please don't. I still have that. I
This
still
doesn't
need.
have. Go ahead.
You go ahead.
All right. Yeah. This doesn't have to get any messier.
Of course it does. I come too far for anything else. I am Loki of Asgard. I am the burden with glorious purpose.
Selvig, checking the pulse of the NASA scientist, hears and approaches.
Loki? Brother of Thor?
We have no quarrel with your people.
Henant has no quarrel with a boot.
You planning to step on us?
I come with glad tidings of a world made free.
Free from what?
Freedom? Freedom is life's great lie. Once you accept that in your heart.
Loki turns and places the spear tip on Selvig's chest.
You will have peace. You'll know peace.
Barton sees a Tesseract portal cloud brewing and moving to Loki.
Yeah, you say peace. I kind of think you mean the other thing.
Sir, Director Fury is stalling. This place is about to blow and drop 100 feet of rock on us. He means bury us.
Like the pharaohs of old.
He's right. The portal is collapsing in on itself. We've got maybe 2 minutes before this goes critical.
Well then.
Barton quickly draws his gun and shoots Fury, who drops the case. Barton picks up as he and Loki and Selvig and another agent leave the room. Interior security level 4. A few short moments later, Barton and the others walk under the closing gate. Hill comes out from the back room.
We need this vehicle. Who's that? Didn't tell me.
The roof is slowly crumbling. Loki gets into a shield truck. Selvig enters the passenger seat holding the case.
Hill! I'll just go for it.
Interior Tesseract chamber room. Continuous.
Do you copy?
Interior security level 4. Continuous.
Barton has turned.
Barton pulls his gun and fires at Hill, who rolls behind the backroom wall and returns fire. Barton enters the driver's seat of the pickup and drives off with Loki. Is in the back. Who is in the back? I'm guessing that's what Supposed to read.
Can you not see it?
Interior, Tesseract chamber room, continuous. Fury stands up and rushes out as the Tesseract cloud gets bigger and bigger above him. The lab is getting destroyed.
Get the Tesseract. Shut them down.
Interior, security room, level 4, continuous. Hill throws her radio into the front seat of a shield jeep, and she jumps in after and speeds away, trying to catch up to Barton. Interior, dimly lit underground tunnel, continuous. Shield cars are chasing Barton's pickup. Loki fires a beam from his spear, flipping the car over on its head, blocking the pursuing vehicles and fleeing cars. Interior, lower level, continuous. Early dawn. The portal begins to collapse as Fury tries to escape. Falling debris misses him by a few inches. Coulson is assisting evacuation, supervising guards with wheel crates. An explosion rocks the building. They all. Sorry, it's. I'm missing a couple of the. It cuts it off because that's where everyone is being seen. So I'm trying to guess some of it. They all. What is it? The word there?
They all fall as the roof dissolves.
Fall. That's it. So thank you. I just needed fall. Yeah, that was it.
Let's just go. No. Leave it. Go.
They all fall. Oh, yeah. You go.
That was my line.
Yeah. Sorry, I was confused. Yeah.
Wait, whose line is it?
Whose line is it now? I'm very confused.
We're on line 20.
I'm still reading, correct?
Yes, you're
right?
reading.
Okay. I just needed that very last bit because I couldn't see the bit of the word to guess it. That was it. Interior, dimly lit, underground tunnel, continuous. Barton speeds up because he is coming up to an intersection. Hill comes speeding out of the right tunnel. She spins the Jeep around, coming face to face with Barton, who shoots through the window. Hill returns fire, firing through the windshield. Interior, military transport truck, continuous. Coulson and guards climb into the canopy of the trunks. Anyway.
Clear upstairs, sir.
Thank you, the truck. I appreciate that. I was having a hard time reading it. Exterior landing pad, shield, NASA facility, continuous. Fury runs through the front door of a building and into.
We need to go.
The last waiting chopper, which takes off as the ground beneath begins to crack up. Interior, dimly lit underground tunnel, continuous. Barton fires at Hill one more time. She fires back. Finally, Barton gets the upper hand and swings in front of Hill, cutting her off. She turns the Jeep around and continues towards them. Continues to speed behind them. Sorry. Exterior landing pad, shield, NASA facility, continuous. Fury's choppers in the air. The ground begins collapsing. Interior Tesseract chamber room, continuous. The Tesseract portal cloud explodes. Exterior shield, NASA facility, continuous. The entire base explodes and crumbles in on itself, sinking into the underground. Fury watches in horror from his chopper window. Dimly lit underground tunnel, continuous. The ceiling of the tunnel falls, trapping Hill and other agents underground. Loki looks at the exit to see if they will make it out. Interior military transport truck, continuous. Coulson and the others in the canopy stare at the ground behind their truck. The ground is still collapsing. Seconds behind their vehicle, they get away in time. Exterior desert, continuous, night. Loki and the others escape the tunnel seconds before the exit is covered up by the fallen ceiling. As they drive along, Fury's chopper chases them. Barton drives frantically as Fury shoots at them from the sky. Loki blasts the helicopter, and Fury jumps to the ground as it crashes. He continues to fire as the truck drives off in the distance. He stands.
Director?
Begin intercut. Fury, truck canopy, underground tunnel.
Dr. Fury, do you copy?
The Tesseract is with a hostile force. I have men down. Hill?
A lot of men still under. Don't know how many survivors.
Sound a general call. I want every living soul not working rescue looking for that briefcase.
Roger that.
Coulson, get back to base. This is a level 7. As of right now, we are at war.
What do we do?
Fury thinks as the camera goes tight on him. Title card, Marvels, The Avengers.
Switch narrators to Vicky.
Exterior, old warehouse, Russia, night. A train speeds by. Camera pulls through the warehouse window and moves up to the third floor where Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, is tied to a chair. A man slaps her. She screams.
This isn't how I wanted this evening to go.
I know you wanted this evening. Believe me, this is better.
Who are you working for? Lermontov, yes?
Tall thug walks over to Natasha, leans the chair over a pit. She becomes scared.
Does he think we have to go through him to move our cargo?
Some reason I can't see. Yeah. I thought the General Slohab is in charge of the export business.
So, a bagman, a front. Your outdated information betrays you. The famous Black Widow is just another pretty face.
You really think I'm pretty?
Tall thug grabs her jaw and forces it open as Lukov walks to the table behind him.
Tell Lermontov we don't need him to move the tanks. Tell him he is out. Well,
Lukov picks up a tool off the table and plays with it.
you may have to write it.
Suddenly a phone rings. Weaselly Thug answers his phone.
It's for her.
Lukov takes the phone.
You listen carefully.
You're at 114 Solensky Plaza, third floor. We have an F-22 exactly 8 miles out. Put them in on the phone or I will blow up the block before you can make the lobby.
Lukov hands the phone to Natasha, who balances it on her shoulder.
We need you to come in.
Are you kidding? I'm working.
This takes precedence.
I'm in the middle of an interrogation, and this moron is giving me everything.
I not give everything.
Natasha gives Lukov a look. Begin intercut, Coulson, Natasha.
Look, you can't pull me out of this right now.
Natasha, Barton's been compromised.
Let me put you on hold.
Lukov moves in for the cell phone. Natasha kicks him between the legs and headbutts him. Weaselly Thug swings his fist at her, and she kicks him back. Tall Thug runs up, and she spins around, and the chair legs hit him. Weaselly Thug jumps to his feet. Natasha rolls with the chair, drops the legs on his feet. She whips her head at him and hits him in the nose and then trips him. As she fights the Tall Thug, Coulson listens to the fight over the phone. He stands quiet, waiting as he hears the groaning, kicking, and punching. Natasha springboards off Tall Thug's back, somersaults, and breaks a chair on Weaselly Thug. Tall Thug grabs her, and Natasha bends his hand, then hits him with the chair leg. She does a front drop kick against Tall Thug and then pushes herself off the ground with both hands. She runs towards Tall Thug, who is out of breath, and flips him with her thighs. Lukov stands, and she swiftly walks over to the chain hanging from the ceiling. As he approaches, she hits him with it, wraps one leg in it, and throws him into the pit. She leaves him upside down and picks up the cell and her high heels.
Where's Barton now?
We don't know.
But he's alive.
We think so.
Coulson is looking at a screen that's playing a video of Hawkeye and Black Widow in Budapest.
We'll brief you on everything when you get back.
Coulson is handed a folder. He walks down some stairs as he talks.
But first, we need you to talk to the big guy.
Coulson, you know that Stark trusts me about as far as he can throw me.
Oh, I've got Stark. You get the big guy.
End intercut. Natasha stops in her tracks, shocked at what Coulson has just said.
My God.
Exterior slums, Calcutta, India, night. A young girl sprints across a busy street. She runs through a crowd of people, rushing down a busy alleyway. She runs into a house and up the stairs. Calcutta woman approaches her. Bruce Banner, the alter ego of the Incredible Hulk, is treating the ill in the background.
Who are you? Get out! There's sickness here!
Are you a doctor? I need a doctor. My father not waking up. He has a fever and he's moaning, but his eyes won't open.
Banner hears and moves over to the young girl. He kneels before her.
Slow down.
My father.
Like them?
Banner points to the people in the house that are sick. Young girl nods and holds up a wad of cash.
Please.
Exterior, old abandoned shack, Calcutta outskirts later. A young girl is rushing to reach the shack, but Banner, a little suspicious, grabs her, slowing her down. A truck drives by very slowly. Banner glances at it as it passes. Banner and the girl rush across the dirt road. The young girl sprints into the shack and Banner follows slowly. Interior, old abandoned shack, continuous. Banner enters in time to see her escape through the window. He's been ditched and he realizes he's been set up.
Should have got paid up front, Banner.
You know, for a man who's supposed to be
Natasha reveals herself to Banner from behind a curtain.
avoiding stress, you pick up a hell of a place to settle.
Avoiding stress isn't the secret.
Oh, then what is it? Yoga?
And you brought me to the end of the city. Smart. I assume the whole place is surrounded.
Natasha removes her scarf.
Just you and me.
And your actress buddy? She a spy too? They start that wrong?
I did.
Who are you?
Natasha Romanoff.
Are you here to kill me, Miss Romanoff? Because that's not going to work out for everyone.
No, of course not. I'm here on behalf of S.H.I.E.L.D.
S.H.I.E.L.D.? How'd they find me?
We never lost you, Doctor. We kept our distance, even helped keep some others interested parties off your scent.
Why?
Nick Fury seems to trust you, but we need you to come in.
What if I say no?
I'll persuade you.
And what if the other guy says no?
You've been more than a year without an incident. I don't think you want to break that streak.
Banner pushes at an old wooden cradle. It creaks.
Well, I don't every time get what I want.
Doctor, we are facing a potential global catastrophe.
Oh, those I actively try to avoid.
This is the Tesseract.
Natasha slides a cell phone along the table. On it is an image of the Tesseract.
It has the potential energy to wipe out the planet.
Banner puts on his glasses, approaches, and picks up the touchscreen cell phone.
What does Fury want me to do? Swallow it?
He wants you to find it. It's been taken. It emits a gamma signature that's too weak for us to trace. No one knows gamma radiation like you do. If there was, that's where I'd be.
So Fury isn't after the monster?
Not that he's told me.
And he tells you everything?
Talk to Fury. He needs you on this.
He needs me in a cage?
No one's going to put you into a cage.
Stop lying to me!
Banner yells, crashing his hands down on the table. Natasha stands, pulling a gun, and aims at him. He draws back, smiling.
I'm sorry, that was mean. I just wanted to see what you do.
Natasha stares at him, a little teary, scared out of her mind.
Why don't we do this the easy way, where you don't use that, and the other guy doesn't make a mess? Okay, Natasha?
Natasha lowers her weapon and speaks into an earpiece.
Stand down. We're good here.
The
Just
horde
you and me?
The horde of armed guards surrounding the shack lower their weapons. Natasha realizes he knows and stands silent. Interior dark room and carrier night. Fury is talking with the council. 4 shadowy figures on screens.
This is out of line, Director. You're dealing with forces you can't control.
You ever been in a war, Councilman? In a firefight? Did you feel an overabundance of control?
You're saying that this is Asgard is declaring war on our planet?
Not Asgard. Loki.
He can't be working alone. What about the other one, his brother?
Our intelligence says Thor is not a hostile, but he's worlds away and we can't depend on him to help either. It's up to us.
Which is why you should be focusing on Phase 2. It was designed for exactly this purpose.
Phase 2 isn't ready. Our enemy is. We need a response team.
The Avengers initiative was shut down.
This isn't about the Avengers.
We're running the world's greatest covert security network, and you're going to leave the fate of the human race to a handful of freaks?
I'm not leaving anything to anyone. We need a response team. These people may be isolated, unbalanced even, but I believe, with the right push, they can be exactly what we need.
You believe.
War isn't won by sentiment, Director.
No. It's won by soldiers.
Interior Gym Night. Steve Rogers, alter ego of Captain America, is hitting a punching bag in a gym. He has several flashbacks of World War II. During his flashbacks,
There's not enough time. I gotta put her in the water.
he hits the bag harder, faster.
You won't be alone.
He hits the bag even faster.
Oh my God, this guy's still alive.
Steve throws the hardest punch he has left, and it knocks the bag across the room. Breathing hard, Steve picks up another bag from a line on the floor and hangs it up. He begins to hit it and...
Trouble sleeping?
Slept for 70 years, sir. I think I've had my fill.
Fury slowly approaches Steve.
Then you should be out, celebrating, seeing the world.
When I went under, the world was at war. I wake up, they say we won. They didn't say what we lost.
We've made some mistakes along the way. Some very recently.
You here with a mission, sir?
I am
Trying to get me back in the world?
trying to save it.
Fury hands Steve a folder with information on the Tesseract in it.
Hydra's secret weapon.
Howard Stark fished that out of the ocean when he was looking for you. He thought what we think. The Tesseract could be the key to unlimited sustainable energy. That's something the world sorely needs.
Who took it from you?
He's called Loki. He's not from around here. There's a lot we'll have to bring you up to speed on if you're in. The world has gotten even stranger than you already know.
At this point, I doubt anything would surprise me.
Steve gets up, grabs his duffel bag and another punching bag while Fury is talking.
$10 says you're wrong. There's a debriefing packet waiting for you back at your apartment. Is there anything else you can tell us about the Tesseract that we ought to know now?
You should have left it in the ocean.
Steve exits. Exterior ocean, New York City night. Iron Man, aka Tony Stark, is underwater. He attaches a device to a massive pipe. He flies up out of the water and towards the city and begins talking with Pepper Potts.
Good to go on this end. The rest is up to you.
You disconnected the transmission lines? Are we off the grid?
Inside Iron Man's headset.
Stark's tower is about to become the beacon of self-sustaining clean energy.
Well, assuming the arc reactor takes over and it actually works.
Exterior streets of Midtown Manhattan. Continuous. Iron Man peels around a corner, heading straight for Stark Tower.
I assume. Light her up.
Stark Tower lights up.
How does it look?
Exterior Stark Tower, continuous night.
Like Christmas.
Inside Iron Man headset.
But with more me.
We've got to go wider on the public awareness campaign. You need to do some press.
Iron Man flies over an overpass and up the side of Stark Tower.
I'm in DC tomorrow. I'm working on the zoning for the next 3 buildings.
Pepper, you're killing me at the moment. Remember, enjoy the moment.
Exterior Stark Tower landing pad. Continuous.
Then get in here and I will.
Iron Man lands on the landing pad of the tower and walks along a walkway, robotic arms deconstructing his armor.
Sir, Agent Coulson of S.H.I.E.L.D. is on the line.
I'm not in. I'm actually out.
Sir, I'm afraid he's insisting.
Grow a spine, Jarvis. I got a date.
Interior penthouse, Stark Tower. Continuous night. Pepper stands in front of a holographic display, a little confused.
Levels are holding steady, I think.
Tony approaches Pepper.
Of course they are. I was directly involved, which leads me to my next question. How does it feel to be a genius?
Tony turns off the display, and Pepper and he face each other.
Well, I really wouldn't know, now would I?
What do you mean? All of this came from you.
No, all of this came from that.
Pepper taps Tony's arc reactor.
Give yourself some credit, please. Stark Tower's your baby. Give yourself 12% of the credit.
12%?
An argument can be made for 15.
Pepper walks towards the living room.
12% of my baby?
Well, I did do all the heavy lifting. Literally, I lifted heavy things. And sorry, but the security snafu, that was on you.
Oh,
My private elevator.
Pepper pours champagne in 2 glasses.
you mean our elevator?
Yes, it was teeming with sweaty workmen. I'm going to pay for that comment about percentages in some subtle way later, aren't I?
Not gonna be that subtle.
I tell you what, next building is going to say POTS on the tower.
On the lease.
Call your mom. Can you bunk over?
Sir, the telephone. I'm afraid my protocols are being overridden.
Ugh.
Tony picks up his high-tech phone and holds up.
Mr. Stark, we need to talk.
You have reached the life model decoy of Tony Stark. Please leave a message.
This is urgent.
Then leave it urgently.
The elevator opens, and Coulson comes out.
Security breach? That's on you.
Phil, come in.
Pepper and Tony walk over to Coulson, who is entering.
Bill.
I can't stay.
His first name is Agent,
Come on in. We're celebrating.
which is why he can't stay.
We need you to look this over as soon as possible.
Tony stares at the laptop.
I don't like being handed things.
That's fine because I love to be handed things. So let's trade.
Pepper swaps with Coulson. He has with her her glass, and she has a laptop. She then tastes Tony's glass and passes the laptop on to him.
Official consulting hours are between 8 and 5 every other Thursday.
This isn't a consultation.
Is this about the Avengers?
Coulson looks at Pepper.
Which I know nothing about.
The Avengers initiative was scrapped, I thought, and I didn't even qualify.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, apparently I'm volatile, self-obsessed, don't play well with others.
That I did know.
This isn't about personality profiles anymore.
Whatever. Mrs. Potts, got a sec?
Half a moment.
Pepper leaves Coulson at the door and goes over to Tony.
You know, I thought we were having a moment.
I was having 12% of a moment.
Tony gives Pepper a look.
This seems serious. Bill looks pretty shaken.
How would you notice? Why is he Phil?
What is all this?
This is,
Tony grabs the holograms on the laptop and throws them up. Holograms fill the room. Each is an article on one of the Avengers.
this.
They both look upon the screens, observing them.
I'm going to take the jet to DC tonight.
Tomorrow.
You have homework. You have a lot of homework.
Well, what if I didn't?
If you didn't, you mean when you finished? Well, then.
She leans in and whispers in Tony's ear.
Square deal. Fly safe.
They kiss. Coulson looks away.
Work hard. So, any chance you're driving by LaGuardia?
I can drop you off.
Fantastic. Ooh, I want to hear about the cellist. Is that still a thing?
As they are talking, Tony sees the Tesseract. It piques his interest.
She moved back to Portland.
Pepper and Coulson board the elevator.
What? Boo.
Exterior ocean day. A jet flies over the sea at high speed.
We switch narrators to Tori.
Exterior ocean day. A jet flies over the sea at high speed. Interior jet continuous. Steve is watching a video of the Hulk.
We're about 40 minutes out from home base, sir.
Coulson
So-
stands from a chair and walks over to Steve.
So this Dr. Banner was trying to replicate the serum they used on me?
A lot of people were. You were the world's first superhero. Banner thought gamma radiation might hold the key to unlocking Erskine's original formula.
Didn't really go his way, did it?
Not so much. Winnie's not that thing, though. Guys like a Stephen Hawking.
Roger looks confused.
He's like a smart person. I gotta say, it's an honor to meet you officially. I sort of met you. I mean, I watched you while you were sleeping. I mean, I was present while you were unconscious from the ice.
Steve moves over to the cockpit and Coulson follows.
You know, it's just a huge honor to have you on board. It's
Well, I hope I'm the man for the job.
Oh, you are absolutely. We made some modifications to the uniform. I had a little design input.
The uniform? Aren't the stars and stripes a little old-fashioned?
Everything that's happening, the things that are about to come to light, people might just need a little old-fashioned.
Interior Loki's lair, underground lab, day. 2 soldiers run down a tunnel. We hear them coming. They run into the lab where dozens of men are working, including Selvig. Loki sits and watches, spear in hand. It glows, and he is transported to another world. Exterior, space, continuous.
The Chitauri grow restless.
Let them guard themselves. I will lead them to glorious battle.
Battle against the meager might of Earth.
Glorious, not lethally. If your force is as formidable as you claim,
You question us? You question him? He who held the scepter in your hand, who gave you ancient knowledge and new purpose, when you were cast out, defeated?
I was king, the rightful king of Asgard. Betrayed.
Your ambition is little, full of childish need. We look beyond the earth to greater worlds. The Tesseract will unveil.
You don't have the Tesseract yet.
The Chitauri creature lunges at Loki, hissing.
I don't threaten, but until I open the doors, until your forces is mine to command, you are but words.
You will have your war, Asgardian. If you fail, if the Tesseract is kept from us, there will be no realm, no barren moon, no crevice where he cannot find you. You think you know pain. He will make you long for something as sweet as pain.
Interior Loki's lair. Underground lab, continuous. Loki comes back and he flinches. He stares, mad. Exterior ocean, day. A jet flies to a giant carrier in the water. It's the SHIELD helicarrier in all its glory. Personnel are walking all over. Some are strapping down jets and containers. Exterior helicarrier, day. A jet lands. Coulson and Steve step out of it. Natasha walks towards them.
Agent Romanoff, Captain Rogers.
I think you muted, Karen.
Ma'am?
You did now.
Who's Natasha?
Hi! They need you on the bridge. They're starting the face trace.
I see you there.
Coulson leaves as Natasha and Steve get to know each other while walking.
There's quite the buzz around here, finding you in the ice. Dr. Coulson was going to swoon. Did he ask you to send his Captain America trading card yet?
Trading cards.
Avengers. He's very good. Very proud.
They see Banner, who is bumping into people while he observes the carrier.
Dr. Banner.
Oh, yeah. Hi. They told me you'd be coming.
Word is you can find the cube.
Is that the only word on me?
Only word I care about.
Must be strange for you, all of this.
Well, this part is actually kind of familiar.
Gentlemen, you might want to gentlemen, you might want to step inside for a minute. It's gonna be a little hard to breathe.
Flight mode. Secure the deck.
There's a loud whirring and clunking sound, and Banner and Rogers make their way to the edge of the helicarrier.
Is this a submarine?
Really? They want me in a submerged pressurized metal container?
Propellers begin to spin, and the carrier begins to lift into the air.
Good line there, Heather.
Oh my God.
Heather, you've got one more line.
Oh my God, this computer. Oh no, this is much worse.
The helicarrier begins ascending higher and higher. Interior bridge, carrier, minutes later. Rogers and Banner follow Natasha into the bridge. Natasha peels away from them as they stare and observe in awe. It's very busy, with S.H.I.E.L.D. personnel working at stations and communicating over earpieces.
Maximize performance, take off. Increase output to capacity.
Power plant performing at capacity. We are clear.
All engines operating. Shield emergency protocol 193.6 in effect. We're at level, sir.
Good. Let's vanish.
Engage retro reflection panels.
Exterior helicarrier continuous. The underside of the ship appears to become coated with mirrors so it blends in with the sky. Interior bridge, carrier continuous.
Reflective panels engaged.
Gentlemen,
Steve slips Fury the $10 he bet earlier in regards to nothing being able to surprise him.
Doctor, thank you for coming.
Banner
Thanks for
shakes Fury's
asking
hand.
nicely. So, how long am I staying?
Once we get our hands on the Tesseract, you're in the wind.
Well, where are you with that?
We're sweeping every wirelessly accessible camera on the planet. Cell phones.
Steve stands in the background, confused at what's being said. While Coulson is talking, Natasha moves over to a computer screen where we see Barton's face trace in progress. She checks the stats.
Laptops. If it's connected to a satellite, it's eyes and ears for us.
It's still not gonna find them in time.
You have to narrow your field. How many spectrometers do you have access to?
How many are there?
Call every lab you know. Tell them to put the spectrometers on the roof and calibrate them for gamma rays. I'll rough out a tracking algorithm, basic cluster recognition. At least we could rule out a few places. Do you have somewhere for me to work?
Agent Romanoff, would you show Dr. Banner to his laboratory, please?
Natasha walks over to Banner and they begin walking out of the bridge area.
You're going to love it, Doc. We get all the toys.
Really? Do you have the comm meter 64?
I'm not sure.
Oh, you're very young.
Fury walks up to Hill.
Hill, did you tell the council that Barton had been compromised?
Was that not procedure?
Fury walks off the bridge and onto the air deck, where he looks out.
Did you tell them who exactly is on your response team?
Fury looks over his shoulder.
Doesn't appear I have to.
Interior, Loki's lair. Underground lab, day. Selvig is working on a machine in Loki's hidden base.
Put it over there. Where did you find all these people?
Shield has no shortage of enemies, Doctor. This is stuff you need?
Yeah, iridium. It's found in meteorites. It forms antiprotons. It's very hard to get hold of.
Especially if Shield knows you need it.
Well, I didn't know.
Loki walks up.
Hey, this is wonderful. The Tesseract has shown me so much. It's more than knowledge, it's truth.
I know. It's It's touched everyone differently. What did it show you, Agent Barton?
My next target.
Stick in the mud. He's got no soul. No wonder you chose this tomb to work in.
Well, the Radisson doesn't have 3 levels of lead-lined flooring between shield and that cube.
Selvig walks back to the machine he's working on.
I see why Furia chooses you to guard it.
You're gonna have to contend with him, sir. As long as he's in the air, I can't pin him down, and he'll be putting together a team.
Are they a threat?
To each other, more likely. But if Fury can get him on track, and he might, they could throw some noise our way.
You admire Fury?
He's got a clear line of sight.
Is that why you failed to kill him?
It might be. I was disoriented, and I'm not at my best with a gun.
I want to know everything you can tell me about this team of his. I would test their mettle.
Barton nods.
I am wary of scrambling in shadows. I mean, to the rule this world, not bury it in.
That's a risk.
Oh, yes.
If you're set on making yourself known, I could be useful.
Tell me what you need.
Barton walks over to a small case, opens it, then takes out his bow. He flicks it open.
I need a distraction. And an eyeball.
Interior bridge carrier, day. Coulson and Steve are standing in the bridge, just waiting. Agent Jasper Sitwell is in the background running the face trace.
I mean, if it's not too much trouble.
No, it's fine.
It's a vintage set. Took me a couple of years to collect them all. Near mint, slight foxing around the edges, but
We got a hit. 67% match. Wait. Cross match. 79%.
location?
Stuttgart, Germany. 28 Konevgrastav. He's not exactly hiding.
Captain, you're up.
Steve nods and walks off. Exterior, fancy building, Stuttgart, night. A busy street. Cars pull up and drop off fancy guests. Interior, fancy building, continuous. String quartet number 13 is playing in a large ballroom filled with people talking and mingling. Interior room, carrier, continuous. Steve walks through a door, and in a case is the new and improved Captain America suit. He walks over to it and stares. Exterior, guarded building, continuous. 2 guards outside are shot down with arrows while securing the building. Exterior Quinjet, skies, continuous. The Quinjet is speeding across the cloudy skies, making its way to Germany. Exterior door of the guarded building, continuous. Barton and some men rush over to a door with a scanner on the side. They prepare to break in. Interior of the fancy building, continuous. Loki walks down some stairs from a balcony. Gala scientist is at a podium talking. Loki hits a man with his scepter, knocking him to the floor. The guests stop and stare in awe. Loki swiftly grabs the Gala scientist, flips him onto the statue, and then uses a device to bore into his eye. The guests scatter in horror, screaming, running away as Loki smiles menacingly. Exterior door, guarded building, continuous. The image of the eye is transported to a similar device Barton is holding over a retina scanner. The door opens. Interior room, guarded building, continuous. Barton runs in and steals and takes a glass tube containing the iridium. Exterior fancy building, Stuttgart, continuous, night. People flee the gala, screaming, and Loki follows, taking on his Asgardian attire. He blasts the police car speeding towards him, flipping it over. He creates duplicates of himself, surrounding a mob of gala people.
Kneel before me. I said kneel.
The people hurry, dropping to their knees.
It's not this simpler. Is this not your natural state? It's the unspoken truth of humanity. That you crave subjugation. The bright lure of freedom diminishes your life's joy in a mad scramble for power. For identity. You were made to be ruled. In the end, you will always kneel.
A German old man gets to his feet.
Not to men like you.
There are no men like me.
There are always men like you.
Look, to your elder people, let me be an example.
Loki fires his scepter, but Captain America jumps in front of the man, deflecting the beam off his shield, causing it to hit Loki, who falls to the ground.
You know, the last time I was in Germany and saw a man standing above everybody else, we ended up disagreeing.
The soldier?
Loki rises to his feet.
The man out of time.
I'm not the one who's out of time.
The Quinjet comes in behind Cap with Black Widow inside. A gun unfolds from the underside of the plane.
Loki, drop the weapon and stand down.
Loki fires at the jet, and it banks hard to avoid it. Cap attacks Loki, and the two fight. Loki knocks Cap's shield to the side and forces him down with his scepter.
Kneel!
Not today!
Cap jumps up and does a spin kick to Loki's face. The two continue to fight. Interior cockpit, Quinjet, continuous, night. Natasha, in her Black Widow suit, is trying to figure out how to take a shot.
Guys all over the place.
Agent Romanoff, you miss me? This is where we switch over to the next.
Kat, you're muted.
So Tori, you got a few more lines there.
Oh, sorry. The computer screen shows the message, PA systems override, and AC/DC's Shoot to Thrill begins to play. Natasha smiles heavily. Iron Man flies down and fires a repulsor blast, knocking Loki down. Make a move, Reindeer Games. Loki's Asgardian garb fades away and he raises his hands. Good move. Cap walks over to Iron Man. The Quinjet begins to land in the background.
Now we switched. Oh, just two more lines and we switch narrators.
To Stark?
Captain.
Exterior, darkened, cloudy skies, night. Dolly in on some mountains in the distance. The Quinjet speeds by. Interior cockpit, Quinjet, continuous. Natasha is piloting the plane. Loki is strapped down in the back of the plane. Cap in suit but no cowl, and Tony in the suit but without the helmet, is standing behind the cockpit and they talking.
He's saying anything?
Not a word.
Just get him here. We're low on time.
Continuous.
I don't like it.
What, Rock of Ages giving up so easily?
I don't remember it being that easy. This guy packs a wallop.
Still, you were pretty spry for an older fellow. What's your thing, Pilates?
What?
It's like calisthenics. You might have missed a couple of things, during time as a capsicle.
Fury didn't tell me he was calling you in.
Yeah, there's a lot of things Fury doesn't tell you.
There's a flash of lightning and a roar of thunder.
Where's this come from?
Loki leans forward, looking around.
What's the matter? Scared of a little lightning?
I'm not overly fond of what follows.
Loki looks to the sky. Exterior, darkened, stormy skies, continuous night. There's a crash on top of the Quinjet. Something has landed. Tony, Steve, and Natasha look up, shocked and jolted. There seems to be a shadowy figure holding on to the Quinjet. We make it out. This is Thor Odinson, god of thunder. He is serious. There's another flash of light. Natasha speeds up. Steve runs for something. He grabs his cowl, while Tony grabs his helmet, which attaches itself to the suit. Tony pushes a button and opens the ramp of the jet.
What are you doing?
Thor enters, jumping down on the ramp. He hits Iron Man away, causing him to fall on Cap. He grabs Loki by the neck and jumps out of the plane.
Now there's that guy.
Another Asgardian?
That guy's a friendly.
Doesn't matter. If he frees Loki or kills him, the Tesseract's lost.
Iron Man begins walking to the edge of the ramp.
Stark, we need a plan of attack.
I have a plan. Attack.
Iron Man flies out of the jet and Cap makes for a parachute.
I'd sit this one out, Cap.
I don't see how I can.
These guys come from legend. They're basically gods.
There's only one god, ma'am, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
Cap straps on the chute, grabs his shield, and dives out the plane, head first. Exterior cliff top night. Thor and Loki crash down on a cliff. Thor throws Loki to the ground. He groans.
Oh,
Where is the Tesseract?
ho! I missed it too.
Do I look to be in a gaming mood?
Oh, you should thank me. With the grid fast gone, how many dark energies did the other All-Fathers have to muster to courage you here? Your preside Earth.
Thor drops his hammer, Mjolnir, and pulls Loki to his feet.
I thought you were dead.
Did you mourn?
We all did. Our father,
Your father. He didn't. He did tell you my true percentage. Did he not?
we were raised together. We played together. We fought together. Do you remember none of that?
I remember a shadow living in my shade of your greatness. I remember you tossing me into an abyss. I who was and should be king.
So you take the world I love as recompense for your imagined slights. No, the earth is under my protection, Loki.
Well, yes.
Then you miss the truth of ruling, brother. Throne would suit you ill.
Loki pushes past Thor and walks away. Thor follows.
I've seen worlds you've never known about. I've grown, Odin's son. In my exile, I have seen the true power of the Tesseract. And when I wield it,
Who showed you this power? Who controls the would-be king?
I am the king.
Not here. You give up the Tesseract. You give up this poisonous dream. You come home.
I don't have it.
Thor summons Mjolnir and holds it ready.
You need the cube to bring me home. But I've sent it off. I know not where.
You listen well, brother.
Iron Man flies in, knocking him and Thor out of frame. Loki stands waiting.
I'm listening.
Exterior forest seconds later, Thor and Iron Man crash through the trees to the ground. Tony lifts his faceplate.
Do not touch me again.
Then don't take my stuff.
You have no idea what you're dealing with.
Shakespeare in the Park? Doth mother know you weareth her drapes?
This is beyond you, metal man. Loki will face Asgardian justice.
He gives up the cube, he's all yours. Until then, stay out
Faceplate
of my
drops.
way,
Iron Man takes a few steps.
tourist.
Thor throws Mjolnir, hitting Iron Man square in the chest, sending him flying, landing on his back. Inside the Iron Man helmet,
Okay.
back to scene. Loki smirks from the cliff top as Thor summons Mjolnir, then swings it in circles. Iron Man gets to his feet and fires a repulse blast at Thor, then flies at him, kicking him through a tree. Thor stands, summoning a bolt of lightning as Loki watches in the distance. Thor sends the bolt at Iron Man. Inside Iron Man helmet,
Power at 400% capacity.
How about that?
Iron Man fires at Thor. The two stand ready, then fly at each other, smashing through the trees and scraping up a cliffside. Trees are toppled as they crash to the forest grounds. Thor and Iron Man stand quickly. Thor sends in a left hook, so Iron Man is about to punch, but Thor grabs his fist. Iron Man is about to send in his left hook, and Thor grabs that too. Thor begins to crash Iron Man's right gauntlet with ease. Inside Iron Man helmet, Tony looks at the HUD, which is alerting him. He groans and thinks. Iron Man lifts his palm, that is being crushed, and he fires a blast at Thor's face. It does nothing to Thor, so he headbutts him. Thor headbutts him back. Iron Man flies back, coming to a stop before launching himself at Thor. Iron Man throws Thor into a broken tree. Thor then stands, and the two go at it for a bit longer. A fist fight. Thor summons his hammer, about to slam down on the chest of Tony, but Iron Man ditches, causing Thor to fall. Behind the rising Thor, Iron Man swoops in and punches him. They get ready to send blows at each other until Cap's shield ricochets off both their chests.
Hey,
Cap catches his shield.
that's enough.
He jumps down of the tree and approaches Thor and Iron Man.
Now, I don't know what you plan on doing here.
I've come here to put an end to Loki's schemes.
Then prove it. Put the hammer down.
Yeah, no, bad call. He loves his hammer.
Thor swings his hammer back, sending Iron Man behind him.
You want me to put hammer down?
Thor leaps, swinging Mjolnir. Cap raises the shield over his head. When the two connect, there is a loud boom and a flash of light. The three are thrown backwards. They slowly get to their feet and come together.
Are we done here?
Thor looks around. Exterior, helicarrier, skies, night. The helicarrier flies through the clouds. Interior, hall, carrier. Loki is escorted down the halls by a troop of armed guards. He walks past the window, the Wishbone lab, where Banner is working. Loki smiles through the window at him. Banner removes his glasses and rubs his temples. Interior cylindrical glass cage carrier. Continuous. Loki is locked in a cylindrical glass cage. Fury walks in and over to a control panel.
In case it's unclear, you try to escape. You so much as scratch that glass.
Fury pushes a button and the floor beneath the cell drops away to nothing. The wind screams.
30,000 feet straight down in a steel trap. You get how that works?
He pushes a button and closes the floor. He gestures first to Loki.
Ant. Boot.
Gestures to Bound.
It's an impressive cage. No, not built, I think, for me.
Built for something a lot stronger than you.
Oh, I've heard.
Interior conference table bridge carrier continuous. On the glass table, a monitor is up. Loki on it. Watching it is Natasha. As Loki talks, she looks up at Banner. Banner looks at her, smirking about her cage comment earlier.
Not the space. Like the place, he's still a man.
We see Thor listen intently.
I think that's Loki's voice there.
I think that's. Oh yeah, I think it is Loki. Sorry about that.
Oh, thank you. I was so confused.
I was
How-
confused.
How despair are you that you call on such lost creatures to defend you?
How desperate am I?
Interior cylindrical glass cage carrier continuous night. Fury moves toward the cage slowly.
You threaten my world with war. You steal a force you can't hope to control. You talk about peace, and you kill, 'cause it's fun. You have made me very desperate. You might not be glad that you did.
Oh, It burns you to come so close, to have the Tesseract, to have power, unlimited power. And for what?
Interior bridge carrier continuous. Hill is watching Loki on a screen too.
Warm lights for all manic to share.
Loki faces Fury again.
And then to remind what real power is.
Fury smiles.
Well, let me know if Real Power wants a magazine or something.
Fury exits. The monitor on Cap's side of the table turns off. Steve, in suit with no cowl, looks up.
He really grows on you, doesn't he?
Loki's going to drag this out. So Thor, what's his play?
He has an army called the Chitauri. They're not out of Asgard, nor any world known. He means to lead them against your people. They will win him the earth, and in return, I suspect, for the Tesseract.
An army from outer space?
So, he's building another portal. That's what he needs Eric Selvig for.
Selvig?
He's an astrophysicist.
He's a friend.
Loki has them under some kind of spell, along with one of ours.
I want to know why Loki let us take him. He's not leading an army from here.
I don't think we should be focusing on Loki. That guy's brain is a bag full of cats. You can smell crazy on him.
Have care how you speak. Loki is beyond reason, but he is of Asgard, and he is my brother.
He killed 80 people in 2 days.
I think it's about the mechanics, iridium. What do they need the iridium for?
Tony and Coulson come walking in.
It's a stabilizing agent. I'm saying, take a weekend. I'll fly you to Portland. Keep love alive.
Coulson peels off from Tony, who is heading over to Thor.
Means the portal won't collapse on itself like it did at S.H.I.E.L.D. No hard feelings, Point Break. You got a mean swing.
Thor gives Tony a look as he walks to the control panels.
Also means the portal can open as wide and stay open as long as Loki wants. Raise the mizzenmast, ship to topsails.
The personnel look at him strangely.
That man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
Standing now at the command area of the ship, Tony covers one eye.
How does Fury even see these?
He turns.
Sounds exhausting.
He begins messing with the screens, sticking something to the underside of a desk.
The rest of the raw materials Agent Barton can get his hands on pretty easily. Only major component he still needs is a power source of high energy density, something to kickstart the cube.
When did you become an expert in thermonuclear astrophysics?
Last night. The packet, Selvig's notes, the extraction theory paper. Am I the only one who did the reading?
Does Loki need any particular kind of power source?
He'd have to beat the cube to heat the cube to 120 million Kelvin just to break through the Coulomb barrier.
Unless Selvig has figured out how to stabilize the quantum tunneling effect.
Well, if he could do that, he'd achieve heavy ion fusion at any reactor on the planet.
Finally, someone who speaks English.
Is that what just happened?
Stark and Banner shake hands.
It's good to meet you, Dr. Banner. Your work on anti-electronic collisions is unparalleled. And I'm a huge fan of the way you lose control and turn into an enormous green rage monster.
Huh. Thanks.
Fury enters.
Dr. Banner's only here to track the cube. I was hoping you might join him.
I'd start with that stick of his. It may be magical, but it works an awful lot like a hydro weapon.
I don't know about that, but it is powered by the cube, and I'd like to know how Loki used it to turn two of the sharpest men I know into his personal flying monkeys.
Monkeys? I do not understand.
I do.
The entire room goes instantly silent, staring at Steve.
I understood that reference.
Shall we play, Doctor?
This way, sir.
The two men walk off. On a shield worker, he resumes playing Galaga. Interior Wishbone Lab, Carrier Knight. Banner and Stark are working on tracking the cube. Banner is scanning the scepter with the device.
The gamma readings are definitely consistent with Selvig's reports on the Tesseract, but it's going to take weeks to process.
Stark works on a screen.
If we bypass their mainframe and direct route to the Homer cluster, we can clock this at around 600 teraflops.
All I packed was a toothbrush.
You know, you should come by Stark Towers sometime. Top 10 floors, all R&D. You'd love it. It's a candy land.
Thanks, but last time I was in New York, I kind of broke Harlem.
Well, I promise a stress-free environment. No tension, no surprises.
He zaps Banner in the side.
Ow!
Hey,
Nothing?
are you nuts?
Jury's out. You really have got a lid on it, haven't you? What's your secret? Mellow jazz, bongo drums, huge bag of weed?
Is everything a joke to you?
Funny things are.
Threatening the safety of everyone on the ship isn't funny. No offense, Doc.
No, it's all right. I wouldn't have come aboard if I couldn't handle pointy things.
You're tiptoeing, big man. You need to strut.
And you need to focus on the problem, Mr. Stark.
You think I'm not? Why did Fury call us in? Why now? Why not before? What isn't he telling us? I can't do the equation unless I have all the variables.
You think Fury's hiding something?
He's a spy. Captain, he's the spy. His secrets have secrets.
He gestures the Banner.
It's bugging him too, isn't it?
I just want to finish my work here and
Doctor?
a warm light for all mankind. Loki's jab at Fury about the cube.
I heard it.
Well, I think that was meant for you.
He gestures to Stark, who offers him a blueberry.
Even if Barton didn't tell Loki about the tower, it was still all over the news.
The Stark Tower? That big, ugly building in New York?
Stark.
It's powered by an arc reactor, self-sustaining energy source. That building will run itself for what, a year?
It's just the prototype. I'm kind of the only name in clean energy right now. That's what he's getting at.
So why didn't S.H.I.E.L.D. bring him in on the Tesseract project? What are they even doing in the energy business in the first place?
I should probably look into that as soon as my decryption program finishes breaking into all of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s secure files.
I'm sorry, did you say...
Jarvis has been running it since I hit the bridge. In a few hours, I'll know every dirty secret S.H.I.E.L.D. has ever tried to hide. Blueberry?
Yet you're confused about why they don't want you around.
An intelligence organization that fears intelligence, historically, not awesome.
I think Loki's trying to wind us up. This is a man who means to start a war, and if we don't stay focused, he'll succeed. We have orders. We should follow them.
Following's not really my style.
Oh, and you're all about style, aren't you?
Out of the people in this room, which one is A, wearing a spangly outfit, and B, not of use?
Steve, tell me none of this smells a little funky to you?
Just find the cube.
Cap exits the lab, pauses and turns, walking off in another direction.
That's the guy my dad never shut up about? Wondering if they shouldn't have kept him on ice.
Guy's not wrong about Loki. He does have the jump on us.
What he's got is an Acme Dynamite kid. It's gonna blow up in his face, and I'm gonna be there when it does.
I'll read all about it.
Or you'll be suiting up with the rest of us.
Now, you see, I don't get a suit of armor. I'm exposed, like a nerve. It's a nightmare.
You know, I've got a cluster shrapnel trying every second to crawl its way into my heart. This stops it. This little circle of light. It's part of me now, not just armor. It's a terrible privilege.
But you can control it.
Because I learned how.
It's different.
Tony wipes clean the screen between them that Banner was working on.
Hey, I read all about your accident. That much gamma exposure should have killed you.
So you're saying that the Hulk, the other guy,
Saved my life? That's nice. That's nice sentiment. Saved it for what?
I guess we'll find out.
You may not enjoy that.
And you just might.
Interior storage room carrier, early dawn. Cat forces open the entrance to a storage room. He walks in, looking around and slightly jumps up to a catwalk above. Exterior tunnel continuous. A truck drives along. It drives into a tunnel. Interior trailer truck continuous. Solvig places the iridium into a device by the tesseract. He smiles. As soon as Loki took the doctor, we... Interior bridge carrier continuous. Coulson is showing Thor an image of Jane Foster on a computer screen. Move Jane Foster. We've got an excellent observatory in Tromsø. She was asked to consult there very suddenly yesterday. Handsome fee, private plane, very remote. She'll be safe.
Thank you. It's no accident Loki's taking Eric Selvig. I dread what he plans for him once he's done. Eric is a good man.
Coulson and Thor begin walking through the bridge. He talks about you a lot. You changed his life. You changed everything around here.
They were better as they were. We pretend on Asgard that we're more advanced, but we came here battling like Blinkschnipe.
Like what?
Oh, Bilchnipe, you know, huge, scaly, big antlers. You don't have those?
No.
Well, they are repulsive, and they trample everything in their path.
Thor moves over to a large window.
And when I first came to Earth, Loki's rage followed me here, and your people paid the price. And now again. In my youth, I courted war.
War hasn't started yet. You think you can make Loki tell us where the Tesseract is?
I do not know. Loki's mind is far afield. It's not just power he craves, it's vengeance upon me. There's no pain would prize his need from him.
A lot of guys think that until the pain starts.
What are you asking me to do?
I'm asking, what are you prepared to do?
Loki is a prisoner.
Then why do I feel like he's the only person on this boat that wants to be here?
And this is where we'll take an intermission.
And this is where I say goodbye and good night.
Good night.
All right, take care, man.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.
Bye, Tamir.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for coming.
So I've got 33 after the hour. 5 minutes enough, folks? 10?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
5's fine.
Recording. Maybe. Did you finish? Oh. No, I didn't finish it till right when we started, and then you put all the together. Thank you. Derek! 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 Dinner time! We got a 5-minute intermission, so if we could.
When was there to get set up?
Well, there's. Did you have just fish, or did you take some coleslaw and make fish tacos with it? Yeah, I forgot there's avocado and tomato too.
Kat, you're not muted if that matters to you.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I just want to make sure you were aware.
Yeah, well, thanks. And I have paused recording, so that's okay. Good.
Perfect.
Good point. Let's see. We're making good time on this one.
I hope I'm doing good. I've only seen the Avengers once, and
You're doing just fine. You've got the Bruce Banner thing down pat.
Well, I did watch Endgame, you know, where they're all sitting around the computer trying to return everything, and and he just is poking at the laptop 100 times, and that's the best part.
And this is a Josh Whedon script, so it's heavy on dialogue, and not so much. There's obviously some actions and descriptions, but you know, this is very much a dialogue movie.
Yeah, you know, actually, scripts heavy on dialogue actually helped me learn how to write scripts that like audio scripts. You know that? Because I had one, I don't know if you saw that announcement, but I recently had one published into a podcast that's available on Spotify.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And like 2 or 3 more in pre-production or in production right now. They're getting made.
Cool.
Yeah. I wonder if we will ever have like a place this year where we read scripts written by people.
Oh, possibly. We've only got things on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Tuesdays. So we can always sneak one in on one of the other days.
Yeah.
Pardon me, I'm just kind of circling what my lines are coming up here. So
yeah.
And Colson's got a few more.
Oh. I'm back.
Right.
Vicky, I loved our banter, by the way. You and me back and forth was really fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
I think that's probably been my favorite, but
yeah, this is a fun show.
It is.
It is. I've laughed a lot.
Yeah. Thank goodness for the mute button.
I know. You guys have heard so many laughters.
The next scene is the best scene of the whole movie to me. I love the next scene. It's my favorite part of this whole movie.
Oh, well, I hope I do it justice. Because it looks like it's me and Aubrey.
Yep.
Yeah.
I literally will. I will purposefully keep my mouth shut because every time I watch this movie, I mouth along to the scene. So I'm gonna try so hard to.
I mean, if you're muted, you could do the scene if you'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I liked our fight, Vicky. It was a good fight. Doth mother know you weareth her drapes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if everyone's back or not. I don't see Aubrey. Now I can see some people on my screen. Let's see.
Yeah.
So we can't do this one without Aubrey, so we'll wait for Aubrey to show back.
So
Yes.
we've made pretty good time here.
We have.
Oh, yeah. It's because it's not a whole lot of actions and descriptions. It's mostly dialogue.
Which
is a lot of
surprises me.
Yeah, it surprises me too.
Well, we'll talk about that a bit here.
Yeah. I have my own suspicions on that.
All right. Is that Aubrey back?
I feel like there's more action in the second half than there is in the first.
Oh.
Well, there is that too. There is a huge action scene coming up with 512 lines.
Oh my gosh.
Woohoo!
Oh, that's a lot.
Yes.
Oh, it's not me.
I think
No,
I was shocked. I was like, I don't have any actions and descriptions this time. I was like, let's go. I struggled.
Avengers assemble.
Yeah, no.
Loki,
You never get the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Loki is, enough all on its own, really.
Yes, I'm having a lot of fun.
I'm
I was
glad
gonna.
it have to like everyone can have their own main character. So
Yes, that's the good part about this one. It's a lot of fun with that. I was gonna say I always struggle with the interior and the exterior. That's the one that's always the one I struggle with. I can never get those ones right.
all right. Aubrey, are you back?
We need you.
No, guess I have to wait.
No, that's a great thing to hear from someone that you need them. And she's not here to hear it.
Oh.
Well, I'm sure she'll be back in a minute.
I'm mad I didn't charge up my Tesseract for this. I have a Tesseract, but it's not charged, so it's
Oh my
not
God,
glowing
what?
right now.
You have a
It's-
Tesseract, Tori?
It's just
Tori.
a gray box right now because it's not charged. So
Does
it's
it
not very
flash and make noises?
intimidating. It does not, but I use it for my Loki cosplay, so I carry it around.
Ah.
and then-
Cosplay Loki. Oh my
I
god.
do.
You
And then
I cosplay Cap. I mean, you know.
there you go. When I go
Yeah.
to cons, sometimes random Avengers will try to take it from me, and I'm like, no.
Lol. That's funny.
Oh,
Get your
Oh,
hands
no.
off my
Bad Thor.
All right, and I've got actions and
we
description.
need to do one of these maybe next year or whatever. Do one of the Loki episodes. Oh, like somebody could play Miss Minutes. Oh, I love Miss Minutes so much. Oh, sorry. I love that show so much.
Oh, the show is amazing. It's 10 out of 10.
Yeah, no. Final and the music. Oh,
So
yeah,
good.
Ooh.
I don't know. I feel like Vicky would be a great Miss Minutes. I feel like you'd have fun with that.
Oh,
I haven't seen
yes.
it yet. Don't spoil it.
Sorry. I won't say anything. Miss Minutes is just the cute little southern accent, it's just like, I'm
Yes,
Miss Minutes.
Yeah.
Welcome to the town of various authority.
He's lovely. Oh. She's probably one of my favorite characters.
If you want a southern accent, you should really look at the little film series I did that's available on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Miss Mona Stanley.
Okay, I'm back.
Yay!
Hi, Aubrey.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be so late.
You missed it, but it was said that you were needed. It's good to
Yes.
hear, isn't it?
Oh, that is good to hear. I think it's just because of Natasha.
No.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
All right, so actions and descriptions. We'll start with interior cylindrical glass cage carrier Dawn. Loki is pacing in the cell. Natasha walks up behind him.
There's not many people that can sneak up on me.
But you'd figure I'd come.
After whatever torment Fury can concoct, you would appear as a friend, as a balm, and I would cooperate.
I want to know what you've done with Agent Barton.
I say, I expanded his mind.
And once you've won, once you're king of the mountain, what happens to his mind?
Is this love, Agent Roman?
Love is for children. I owe him a debt.
Tell me.
Before I worked for S.H.I.E.L.D., I made a name for myself. I have a very specific skill set. Didn't care who I used it for or on. I got S.H.I.E.L.D's I got on Shield's radar in a bad way. Agent Barton was sent to kill me, and he made a different call.
And what will you do if I vow to spare him?
Not let you out.
Ah, no. But I like this. Your world in the balance. And you bargain for one man.
Regimes fall every day. I tend not to weep over that. I'm Russian, or I was.
And what are you now?
It's really not that complicated. I got red in my ledger. I'd like to wipe it out.
Can you? Can you wipe it out that much red? Darkov's daughter. Palu. The hospital fire. Barton told me everything. Your ledger is dripping. It's gushing red. And you think saving a man no more victorious than you will change everything? Anything? This is the based similarity. This is a child, a prayer. Pathetic.
Interior Wishbone Lab Carrier Continuous. Banner and Tony stare at a screen that reads, Access denied. Tony tries a hack in again.
You lie and kill in the service of liars.
Interior Bridge Carrier Continuous. Hill runs over to his shield agent's computer. A message flashes up on the screen, Virus detected, as a result of Stark hacking into their files. Fury walks over and Hill, who looks up at him.
And kill us. You pretend to be spared. Or separated. To have your own code.
Interior Storage Room Carrier Continuous. Cap opens a container and in it is Hydra weapons and equipment.
Something that makes up for horrors. But they are a part of you. And they will never go away.
Interior Cylindrical Glass Cage Carrier Continuous. Loki slams his fist against the glass. Natasha jumps back.
I won't touch Barton. Not until I make him kill you slowly, intimately. In every way he knows your fears.
Natasha becomes scared out of her mind.
And then he'll wake just long enough to see his good work.
Natasha turns away from Loki in horror.
And when he screams, I'll split his skull. This is my bargain. You, Myling Quinn.
Sounds in Natasha, sobbing. Her head hangs low.
You're a monster!
Oh no, you brought the monster.
Natasha lifts her head and turns to face Loki. Her face is dry.
So, Banner, that's your play.
What?
Natasha begins to exit the room.
Loki means to unleash the Hulk. Keep Banner in his lab. I'm on my way. Send Thor as well.
She stops and faces Loki.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Natasha skimmers off. Interior Wishbone Lab Carrier Morning. Fury enters.
What are you doing, Mr. Stark?
Kind of been wondering the same thing about you.
You're supposed to be locating the Tesseract.
We are. The model's locked, and now we're sweeping for the signature now. When we get a hit, we'll have the location within half a mile.
And you'll get your cue back. No muss, no fuss. What is phase 2?
Steve enters and slams a large Hydra gun on the table.
Phase 2 is S.H.I.E.L.D. using the cube to make weapons. Sorry, computer was moving a little slow for me.
Rogers, we've gathered everything related to the Tesseract. This does not mean that we're...
I'm sorry, Nick.
Tony turns the screen toward Fury. It shows a plan for some kind of missile.
What were you lying?
I was wrong, Director. The world hasn't changed a bit.
Thor and Natasha enter. Banner looks to her.
Did you know about this?
You want to think about removing yourself from this environment, Doctor?
I was in Calcutta. I was pretty well removed.
Loki's manipulating you.
And you've been doing what exactly?
You didn't come here because I bat my eyelashes at you.
Yes, and I'm not leaving because suddenly you get a little twitchy. I'd like to know why S.H.I.E.L.D. is using the Tesseract to build weapons of mass destruction.
Because of him.
Me?
Last year, Earth had a visitor from another planet who had a grudge match that leveled a small town. We learned that not only are we not alone, but we are hopelessly, hilariously outgunned.
My people wanted nothing but peace with your planet.
But you're not the only people out there, are you? And you're not the only threat. The world's filling up with people who can't be matched. They can't be controlled.
Like you controlled the cube.
Your work with the Tesseract is what drew Loki to it, and his allies. It is a signal to all the realms that the Earth is ready for a higher form of war.
A higher form?
You forced our hand. We had to come up with some.
Nuclear deterrent, because that always calms everything right down.
Everyone becomes hostile and begins cutting each other off.
Remind me again how you made your fortune, Stark?
I'm sure if he still made weapons, Stark wouldn't be neck deep in...
Wait, hold on. How is this about me?
Oh, I'm sorry. Isn't everything?
I thought humans were more evolved than this.
Everyone begins arguing over each other.
Excuse me, did we come to your planet and blow stuff up?
'Tis your champion.
You're not my champion.
Are you boys really that naive? S.H.I.E.L.D. monitors potential threats.
You furious? I'm furious.
And Captain America is on the threat pool.
We all are!
That's not your concern, Doctor.
As they argue over one another, the scepter grows strongly.
Oh, you're on that list? Are you above or below angry bees?
I swear to God, Stark, one more crack.
Your threat, verbal threat. I feel threatened.
Show some respect.
Respect what?
Yeah, man, handle me now. That'll be good.
Interior Barton's jet continuous. On a screen in the jet is Loki's scepter. Inside, men working for Loki put on masks and load weapons. Barton readies his bow. Transport 6650, please relay your form code. Got you in the computer, but not on the data log. What is your haul? Over.
Arms to ammunition. Over.
Interior Wishbone Lab, carrier continuous.
You speak of control, yet you court chaos.
It's his MO, isn't it? I mean, what are we, a team? No, no, no. We're a chemical mixture that makes chaos. We're a time bomb.
You need to step away.
Why shouldn't the guy let off a little steam?
You know damn well why. Back off.
Oh, I'm starting to want you to make me.
Yeah, big man in a suit of armor. Take that off and what are you?
Oh, genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
I know guys with none of that worth 10 of you. I've seen the footage. The only thing you really fight for is yourself. You're not the guy to make the sacrifice play, to lay down on a wire and let the other guy crawl over you.
I think I would just cut the wire.
Always a way out. You know, you may not be a threat, but you better stop pretending to be a hero.
A hero? Like you? You're a laboratory experiment, Rogers. Everything special about you came out of a bottle.
Interior Barton's jet continuous. The ramp opens and Barton nocks an arrow, takes aim, and lets it loose. The arrow swings in the air and attaches to the side of one of the carrier's enormous engines, flashing. Interior Wishbone Lab carrier continuous. Steve smirks.
Put on the suit. Let's go a few rounds.
You people are so petty and tiny.
Yeah, this is a team.
Agent Romanoff, would you escort Dr.
Where?
Banner back
You
to
rented
his...
my room!
The cell was just...
In case you tried to kill me. In case you needed to kill me. But you can't! I know! I tried!
He stops. Everyone is staring at him.
I got low. I didn't see an N.
So I put a bullet in my mouth and the other guy spit it out. So I moved on. I focused on helping other people. I was good until you dragged me back into this freak show and put everyone here at risk. You want to know my secret, Agent Romanoff? You want to know how I stay calm?
Everyone is watching Banner, Fury, and Natasha reach for their guns.
Dr. Banner, put down the scepter.
Banner looks down, surprised, to see the spear in his hand. The monitor makes a noise, signaling the Tesseract has been located. Banner puts the scepter back on the table and walks over to the screen on the other side of the room.
Got it.
Sorry, kids. You don't get to see my party trick after all.
Located the Tesseract?
I can get there faster.
Look, all of us.
I think that's Thor instead of Novar.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, the Tesseract belongs on Asgard. No human is a match for it.
Stark turns to leave and Rogers holds him back.
You're not going alone.
Tony smacks his hand.
You gonna stop me?
Put on the suit. Let's find out.
I'm not afraid to hit an old man.
Put on the suit.
Banner sees something on the monitor.
Oh my God!
Interior Barton's jet continuous. Barton kneels down and presses a button on his bow. The arrowhead explodes. Exterior helicarrier continuous. The blast destroys one of the engines. Interior Wishbone lab. Everyone in the lab flying in different directions. Fury and Thor fall to the ground behind a table. Thor and Steve are blown to the entryway. Banner and Natasha fly out the Wishbone lab and into the lower equipment room. Exterior Engine 3 helicarrier. Pieces of flaming debris fall to Earth. Inside the lab, Steve and Tony scramble to their feet.
Put on the suit.
Yeah.
Steve helps Tony up, and they run out of the lab. Interior bridge of the carrier. People are running around, yelling, grabbing guns while the monitors are beeping wildly. Shield techs are panicking. Shield agents are gearing up and running to their stations. All hands engaged. The whole place is hectic. Interior corner hallway carrier. An agent frantically runs down the hall. Smoke is dispensing from some pipes. Inside the Wishbone lab, Fury sits up, groaning.
Hill.
Interior bridge carrier. Hill is standing in her command area. She's looking at a screen. Number 3 engine is down.
We've been hit.
Hill runs over to a bridge tech station. Did we get a run in? Talk to me. We got a fire in engine 3.
The line looks mostly intact, but it's impossible to get out there to make repairs while we're in the air.
We lose one more engine, we won't be. Somebody's got to get outside and patch that engine. Interior Wishbone lab carrier.
Stark, you copy that?
I'm on it.
Interior bridge carrier. Coulson runs down some steps.
Coulson, initiate defense lockdown in the contingent center, then go to the armory.
Interior Wishbone hall carrier.
Romanoff.
Interior lower equipment room. Natasha's leg is trapped under a very large pipe. She tries pulling herself painfully free. She groans in pain. He gives up. Banner's in the corner, spacing out. He's fine, but he's making some very wired moments.
Okay.
She looks over to Banner, who is breathing heavy, having landed hard. He's griping the grated flooring to maintain control, but his eyes are green, his face intense.
We're okay, right?
Exterior deck carrier. Barton and his men have landed and are making their way across the deck and over to an air vent. Barton signals his men to kick in the vent, and they do. Inside the engine room, the grating is kicked in, and the men jump down. Barton gives them orders. Keep that engine down. Detention, wait for camera to go dark. Stay close. Exterior ND hallway carrier. Tony and Cap run through a dim, debris-filled hall.
Find engine 3. I'll meet you there.
Cap peels off as Tony approaches a tech room. Inside, Tony's Iron Man suit stands waiting, lit from above in all its glory. Interior lower equipment room of the carrier, on Banner's face in the dim light as he struggles to suppress the rage, but his face is growing, changing slowly. Natasha is pulling herself painfully free again, talking to Banner.
Doctor, Bruce, you've got to fight it. This is just what Loki wants. We're gonna be okay. Listen to me.
Two maintenance guys run in.
You hurt?
We're gonna. Sorry.
Natasha waves them away.
We're gonna be okay, right? I swear on my life, I will get you out of here, and you'll walk away and never, ever.
You're alive?
His voice has a change in it. The bitter amusement is morphing to a growled threat. Banner begins to transform into the Hulk, shirt tearing. He throws himself away from Romanov, who looks terrified. And then he turns to look at her, transforming, just as the lights go out. The transformation completes, and Banner's alter ego, the Hulk, gets unsteadily to his feet and roars. Romanov wrenches her foot free and stands looking, and the Hulk turns to look at her. She turns and runs up the catwalk stairs as the Hulk chases her. She swings over a catwalk and rolls under a turbine as the Hulk tears down the stairs. Natasha jumps through small places as the Hulk grabs after her, roaring loudly. She crawls away under pipes. Inside the cylindrical glass cage, in the cell, Loki hears the Hulk roaring and smiles. Interior bridge carrier. Fury enters, running, yelling.
Bring the carrier to 180 south. Take us to the water.
We're blind. Navigation recalibrate after the engine failure.
Is the sun coming up?
Yes, sir.
Then put us on the left. Get us over water. One more turbine goes down, then we drop.
Exterior engine 3 helicarrier. Steve has just arrived with the damaged engines.
Stark, I'm here.
Tony, in full Iron Man armor, flies close to the engine.
Good. Let's see what we got.
He begins to examine the engine, his suit scanning through the different levels of machinery. Inside the helmet,
I gotta get the superconducting cooling system back online before I can access the rotors, work on dislodging the debris.
back to scene.
I need you to get to that engine control panel and tell me which relays are in overload position.
Roger jumps and swings himself over to the control panel and opens it up while Iron Man works in the engine.
What's it look like in there?
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
Well, you're not wrong.
Interior lower engine room carrier. The place is dark. Natasha sneaks under an engine. She's hiding from the Hulk. She hears his footsteps. She pulls her gun, holding it ready, and she moves out of the pips and walks. Suddenly, the Hulk jumps at her, roaring. Romanov fires the gun at a pipe over his head, and gas shoots out. She runs along a narrow passage, the Hulk crashing through behind her. He comes up on her, fast. In slow-mo, he catches up to her as she's about to run off the passage, and he backhands her against the wall. He steps toward her. Natasha is groaning, unable to move, scared. He raises a fist, about to strike, when he is tackled through the wall by Thor, and they are in the interior lower docking area of the carrier. The two roll into a docking area with planes, and personnel run from the room. The two circle one another as Natasha takes the attack in, and then the Hulk strikes, throwing wild punches as Thor ducks and weaves. Hulk brings out a fist, and Thor holds it above him, on his knees.
We're not enemies, Banner. Try to think.
Hulk punches Thor across the room and through a container. Exterior Engine 3 helicarrier. Iron Man blasts away debris from the engine with his unibeam.
What's our next move?
Oh, back up one.
Oh, okay, the relays are intact.
Cap pushes the engine control panel back in.
What's our next move?
The camera pulls out a bit.
Even if I clear the rotors, this thing won't re-engage without a jump.
Inside the helmet,
I'm gonna have to get in there and push.
back to scene.
Well, if that thing gets up to speed, you'll be shredded.
Begin to intercut between the helmet and Steve.
Then stay in the control unit and reverse polarity long enough to disengage maglev, and that should really...
Speak English!
See that red lever?
Cap looks over to his side.
It'll slow the rotors down long enough for me to get out. Stand by it. Wait for my word.
End intercut. Rogers makes his way over to the lever. Interior lower docking area of the carrier continuous. Thor flies in some stat containers. He slides across the floor on one knee and one leg out. Oh, so precise. He wipes a little blood from his nose. The Hulk roars and Thor looks up, grinning, and raises his hand. Mjolnir comes flying through the docking area, and Thor catches it just as Hulk charges through and hits him on the jaw, sending him into a plane. Hulk gets up and rips the wing off the plane, flinging it at Thor, who ducks, causing the wing to hit a jeep. Thor throws Mjolnir. The Hulk catches the hammer, but is pulled backwards. He tries to lift the hammer, but cannot. Thor picks it up and wraps his arms around the Hulk's neck. Hulk tries swinging Thor off. Inside the bridge carrier, Fury is at the controls, and Hill is walking across the room.
We need full evac on the lower hangar bed.
Hill nods and walks up and signals some agents. A small device rolls over to their feet. Grenade! The device explodes, sending agents flying. In the smoke, Loki's men enter, guns at the ready. Fury knocks one out, using his gun to shoot at another. While he is taking care of a third, a fourth man enters and is about to fire when Hill shoots him in the head. She gets pissed and bleeding. Interior armory carrier, morning. Coulson makes his way over to the armory door. Over the intercom, we've got perimeter breach. Hostiles are in shield gear. Call everyone out to every junction. Coulson pushes down on a switch and scans his eyeball. Interior Wishbone Lab carrier moments later. Hulk and Thor crash to the floor of the Wishbone Lab. Thor lays on the ground. He looks up, and the Hulk grabs him by the throat. Interior bridge. Fury, Hill, and the other agents are shooting toward Loki's men. The place is chaotic. Bridge techs are taking cover and hiding from gunfire. Over the intercom, we've got the Hulk and Thor on research level 4. Levels 2 and 3 are gone. Sir, the Hulk will tear this place apart.
Get his attention.
Escort 6-0, proceed to Wishbone and... Exterior fighter jet helicarrier. Our fighter jet is slowly pulling up to the helicarrier. Engage hostile. Don't get too close.
Copy.
The jet flies to where the Hulk and Thor are fighting, seemingly evenly matched.
Target acquired. Target engaged.
He fires his guns toward the Hulk. The barrage of bullets bounce off of Hulk. He roars, running at the window. Hulk crashes through it, leaping at the jet.
Target angered. Target angry.
Hulk lands on the nose of the jet and tears at the metal as it swerves into the air. The pilot tries to eject himself, but the Hulk grabs him and throws him off to the side. The pilot's parachute opens and the plane explodes, sending Hulk plummeting to the earth. We're still going. Exterior engine 3 helicarrier moments later. Iron Man saws off pieces of debris with a laser. He jumps off of them, knocking them off the rotors. A pair of Loki's men engage. One throws a grenade. Cap jumps into the air and slaps it away. He lands on the back of the carrier and fights them off, standing close to the lever. He ends up throwing one of the men off the carrier. Cap jumps up to a catwalk, picks up a machine gun, and begins firing at the last man. Interior bridge of the carrier, Fury is still shooting at the enemies.
They're not getting through here, so what the?
Barton fires arrows from above, and they explode. He fires another, which hits the control panel. Fury sees him and begins to shoot, while the arrow, having hit a plug, hacks the helicarrier systems, causing a second engine to malfunction. It's dead. Engine 1 is now in shutdown. The helicarrier tilts dangerously. Everyone in the bridge begins rolling.
Sir, we've lost all power in engine 1.
Interior lower engine room carrier continuous. Natasha sits in the carnage of the Hulk's rampage, shaking. She slowly lifts a hand to her earpiece.
It's Barton. He took out our systems. He's headed for the detention lab. Does anybody copy?
This is Agent Romanov. I copy.
Natasha staggers to her feet, ready. Exterior engine 3 helicarrier, Iron Man is trying to push the rotor.
Stark, we're losing altitude.
Inside Iron Man helmet.
Yep, I noticed.
Back to scene, Iron Man flies in between the rotors and begins to push, slowly picking up speed as sparks fly. Cap is forced over the edge by a gunman and falls, almost dropping off the carrier, hanging on by a wire. Interior cylindrical glass cage carrier. Thor runs into the room where Loki's contained. He sees the door slide up and runs over to Loki, only to go straight through him. Loki reappears behind him and closes the door, locking Thor inside.
Are you ever not gonna fall for that?
Interior engine room carrier. Barton is walking along a passage catwalk. Natasha appears behind him, and he quickly turns and shoots a bow, which flies by her. She pushes his hand. He charges her, and she kicks him, then rolls underneath some pipes, popping up on the other side of the catwalk, kicking him in the knee. He shoots another arrow, which she dodges by dropping across to the next passage. Barton follows her. They fight along that catwalk. The fight is very even. Barton tries hitting her with the bow, and she pulls on the string. They fight some more, headbutting and punching. They both pull daggers. Interior cylindrical glass cage carrier. Thor hits the cage with his hammer, and the cage cracks, but it begins to shake off the bolts and shutters.
The humans think us immortals. Shall we test that?
Loki moves to open the chute beneath the cell, dropping Thor to what any regular person would be certain death. Coulson suddenly appears, wielding a large prototype Phase 2 weapon. Move away, please. Loki steps back from the panel. Coulson gestures to the gun. You like this? We started working on the prototype after you sent the destroyer. Even I don't know what it does. You want to find out? Coulson prepares to fire the weapon when Loki disappears, reappearing behind him and thrusting the point of his spear through Coulson's chest. He yells and drops to the floor.
No!
Loki returns to the panel, opening the chute and pressing the button which sends the cell and Thor falling from the ship. Interior engine room carrier continuous. Natasha and Barton are still fighting. Natasha grabs Barton's arm and thrusts it back. He groans as he throws the dagger to his free hand. Natasha grabs that hand too, but he hoists her against the wall. Barton grabs Natasha's hair and pulls, exposing her neck to his dagger. Romanoff sinks her teeth into his arm, and he lets go, trying to force her down when she spins, throwing Barton into the railing. He falls to the ground, groaning, then looks up. Natasha? She sends him a left hook. Exterior skies, moments later day. The cell is still dropping, flipping all over the place. Interior cylindrical glass cage, skies. Thor is desperately trying to break free from the cell, swinging Mjolnir at the glass side as he plummets, twisting and turning through the air. He braces himself against the wall and launches across the space, crashing through the glass and just before the cell slams into the ground. In a remote field continuous, Thor crashes into the field like a meteorite. Interior empty detention room carrier. Coulson is slumped on the floor and Loki turns to leave. You're gonna lose.
Yeah.
It's in your nature.
Your heroes are scattered. Your floating fortress falls from the sky. Where is my disadvantages?
You lack conviction.
I don't think I...
Coulson fires a weapon, which shoots a blast of fire similar to that of the destroyer, sending Loki flying through a wall. Ah, so that's what that does. Interior bridge carrier. Fury is working the controls. All hands to your stations immediately. Exterior engine 3 helicarrier. The helicarrier is still falling. Iron Man is attempting to kickstart the engine by manually moving the huge rotors. He's pushing the blades, flying faster and faster until they start spinning on their own and the ship levels off. Inside the helmet...
Yeah, hit the lever.
Intercut between Cap and the Iron Man helmet. Cap still hangs from the side of the ship by a power cord.
I need a minute here.
Lever, no.
Cap hauls himself up. And intercut. Iron Man is pushed back against one of the rotors, now spinning too fast for him to escape. Inside the helmet...
Uh-oh.
Back to scene. Iron Man is sucked into the blades and is spinning wildly around before Cap manages to pull the lever, and he is able to fly out. He manages to right himself and flies back to the ship, taking out the gunman shooting at Cap. Exterior deck carrier moments later, a jet takes off. Inside is Loki, who is smiling and watching the carrier. Interior empty detention room carrier day. Coulson slumped on the floor with a gun in his lap. Fury enters and kneels by him. Sorry, boss. They got rabbited.
Just stay awake. Eyes on me.
Nope. I'm clocking out here.
Not an option.
It's okay, boss. This was never gonna work if they didn't have something to. His breathing halts and Fury stands to let the medical team through. He leans against the railing. Interior bridge continuous. Hill is having a wound tended to.
Agent Coulson is down.
Hill pushes the doctor away. Inside the end-room carrier, Natasha stands on the catwalk as Barton is dragged away to some agents. She listens intently.
A medical team is on its way to your location.
They're here.
Exterior Engine 3 helicarrier. Tony and Cap stand together by the engine, quietly listening.
They called it.
And we switch narrators to Vicky.
Interior conference table, bridge, carrier day. Steve, Tony, and Fury are gathered at a table. Hill stands to the side. Fury pulls a handful of cards out.
These were in Phil Coulson's jacket. Guess he never did get you to sign them.
Fury scatters them on the table. Some are wet with blood.
We're dead in the air up here. Our communications, location of the cube, Banner, Thor. I got nothing for you. Lost my one good eye. Think I had that coming.
Fury begins to make his way around the table to Steve and to Tony.
Yes, we were going to build an arsenal with the Tesseract. I never put all my chips on that number, though, because I was playing something even riskier. There was an idea, Stark knows this, called the Avengers Initiative.
Fury reaches a chair between Tony and Steve.
The idea was to bring together a group of remarkable people, see if they could become something more, see if they could work together when we needed them to fight the battles that we never could. Phil Coulson died, still believing in that idea, in heroes.
Tony stands and walks out.
Well, it's an old-fashioned notion.
Exterior remote field day. Thor is making his way over to the journal. He hesitates to pick it up, fearing he is not worthy. He clenches his fist. Interior abandoned warehouse, same. Banner wakes naked in a pile of rubble. There is a security guard standing over him.
You fell out of the sky.
Heather?
Did I hurt anyone?
There's nobody around here to get hurt. You did scare the hell out of some pigeons, though.
Lucky.
Or just good aim. You were awake when you fell.
You saw?
The whole thing, right through the ceiling, big and green and buck-ass nude. Well, here, let me... security guard throws Banner and some clothes, which he begins to pull on. I didn't think those would fit you until you shrunk down to a regular-sized fella.
Thank you.
Are you an alien?
What? What?
From outer space, an alien.
No.
Well then, son, you've got a condition. And Banner steps down from the pile of rubble in the warehouse, pulling on the shirt. So, which one is it?
Sorry?
Are you a big guy that gets all little, or a little guy that sometimes blows up large?
I'm not even sure.
Well, you got somewhere to go?
Stark Tower, I know. Yes.
The security guard looks at him.
Yes.
Well, I'd expect some confusion of the mind since your body's kind of all over the place, but it has to be one or the other. The security guard gestures Banner to follow him.
I know where I could do the most good, but it's where I can do the most harm.
Well, that's no different than anybody else.
And they walk out the doors.
Me, I'm here is Jersey, where I can't do much of either. And since I'm not likely to move out from this placement, you may as well go for my ride. The
I don't
security
know which
guard.
way to go.
The security guard gestures to an old motorcycle.
I don't know which way to go.
Your mind's already made up, son. The rest of you will follow. Interior sick bay carrier day. Barton is strapped to a hospital bed. Natasha sits by him as he strains against the bonds, breathing hard and shaking his head.
Vent, you're gonna be all right.
You know that? You know that? Is that what you gotta know? I gotta go in, though. I have to flush him out.
You've got to let all out. It's gonna take time.
You don't understand. Have you ever had someone take your brain and play? Pull you out and put stuff in? You know what it's like to be unmade?
You know that I do.
On my back. How'd you get him out?
Cognitive recalibration. I hit you really hard in the head.
Thanks.
Natasha begins to remove the strap restraints.
Natasha, how many agents?
Don't do that to yourself, Clint. This is Loki. This is monsters and magic and nothing that we were ever trained for.
Loki. He get away?
Yeah. I don't suppose you know where.
Didn't need to know. Didn't ask. He's gonna make his play soon, though. Today.
Natasha walks to the door.
We got to stop him.
Yeah? Who's we?
I don't know. Whoever is left.
Well, if I put an arrow through Loki's eye socket, I'd sleep better, I suppose.
Now you sound like you.
But you don't. You're a spy, not a soldier. Now you want to wade into a war? Why? What did Loki do to you?
You didn't. I just...
Natasha?
I've been compromised. I got red in my ledger. I'd like to wipe it out.
Interior empty detention room, carrier day. Tony stands overlooking where the cylindrical glass cage used to be. Steve enters the room.
You're muted, Karen.
Was he married?
No, there was a cellist, I think.
I'm sorry. He seemed like a good man.
He was an idiot.
Tony and Steve slowly move towards each other.
Why? For believing?
For taking on Loki alone.
He was doing his job.
He was out of his league. He should have waited. He should have...
Sometimes there isn't a way out, Tony.
Right. How did that work for him?
Is this the first time you've lost a soldier?
We are not soldiers. I'm not marching to Fury's fife.
Neither am I. He's got the same blood on his hands that Loki does, but right now we got to put that behind us and get this done. Now Loki needs a power source. If we can put together a list...
Tony looks down at the place Coulson fell. There is a dent in the wall.
He made it personal.
That's not the point.
That is the point. That's Loki's point. He hit us all right where we live. Why?
To tear us apart.
Yeah, divide and conquer is great, but he knows he has to take us out to win, right? That's what he wants. He wants to beat us. He wants to be seen doing it. He wants an audience.
Right. I caught his act in Stuttgart.
Yeah, that's just the previews. This is opening night. And Loki, he's full-tail diva. He wants flowers. He wants parades. He wants a monument built to the sky with his name plastered. Son of a bitch.
Exteriors.
And switch narrators one more time. Ben, can you take, for this Act 5, can you take Barton? And Heather, would you mind taking Jarvis?
Sure.
Is that okay?
I can try.
Okay, if you're awake. If not, I can ask someone else to do it.
I'll try.
Okay. 149, exterior Stark Tower rooftop day. Selvig is setting up the device to open the portal. Interior sick bay carrier. Barton is in the restroom and Natasha is sitting on the bed. Steve is suited up. He enters. Natasha stands. Cap?
Oh,
Karen.
time to go.
Go where?
Tell you on the way. Can you fly one of those jets?
Barton enters from the restroom, drying his hands.
I can.
Cap looks at Natasha, who nods.
Got a suit?
Yeah?
Suit up.
Series of shots. In the field, Thor lifts Mjolnir to the skies. Cap straps his shield on his back. Barton puts on his quiver. Natasha powers up her widow's bite. Her bracelets light up. Tony is in a workshop making repairs to his helmet. Agents walk by in the background. The helmet lights up. Thor summons a bolt of lightning. The field grows dark with clouds. His armor slowly begins to fly on. Barton and Natasha walk side by side behind Captain America, who is leading them through the lower hangar bay. They're all ready to kick butt. Thor's armor finally gathers. End of the series of shots. Interior Quinjet continuous. Cap, Barton, and Natasha walk onto the jet.
Hey, you guys aren't authorized to be in here.
Son, just don't.
Interior air deck, carrier day. Fury is holding Coulson's cards, looking over the air deck. Hill walks behind him. Sir?
Agent Hill.
Those cards. They were in Coulson's locker, not his jacket.
They needed the push.
He sees the Quinjet, and Iron Man takes off toward the city. We've got unauthorized departure from Base 6.
They found it. Get our communications back up, whatever you have to do. I want eyes on everything.
Yes, sir. Exterior New York City skyline, day. Iron Man is flying toward the city. His suit is losing power. He continues to make his way to Stark Tower. Exterior Stark Tower rooftop. Selvig, still under the control of Loki, is ready to activate the device he created with the Tesseract. Iron Man slowly reaches.
Sir, I turned off the arc reactor. The device is already self-sustaining.
Shut it down, Dr. Selvig.
It's too late. She can't stop now. She wants to show us something. A new universe.
Okay.
He flies at the barrier around the device, but the Tesseract deflects it, sending the energy outward, knocking Selvig out and Iron Man back.
The barrier is pure energy. It's unreachable.
Yeah, I got that.
Iron Man looks down to see Loki on the platform outside the penthouse.
I'm beat.
Sir, the Mark 7 is not ready for deployment.
Inside Iron Man helmet.
Then skip the spinning rooms. We're on the clock.
Back to scene. Tony lands, and as his suit is deconstructed, he walks through into the tower penthouse, watching Loki carefully. Loki walks in as well. Interior penthouse, Stark Tower, continuous. Inside the tower, Loki walks forward as Tony goes behind his bar.
Please tell me you're going to appeal to my humility.
Actually, I'm planning to threaten you.
You should have left your armor on for that.
Yeah, it's seen a bit of mileage. You've got the blue stick of destiny. Would you like a drink?
Stalling me won't change anything.
No. Threatening. No drink? You sure? I'm having one.
The Chitauri are coming. Nothing will change that. What have I to fear?
The Avengers. It's what we call ourselves, sort of like a team, Earth's mightiest heroes type of thing.
Yes. I've met them.
Yeah, takes us a while to get any traction. I'll give you that one, but let's do a head count here. Your brother, the demigod.
Loki turns away, and Tony slips a pair of bracelets onto his wrists.
A super soldier, a living legend who's kind of lives up to the legend, a man with breathtaking anger management issues, a couple of master assassins, and you, big fella, you've managed to piss off every single one of them.
That was my plan.
Tony begins to walk to the center of the penthouse where Loki is.
Not a great plan. When they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
Oh, I thought the beast had wandered off.
Yeah, you're missing the point. There's no throne. There is no version of this where you come out on top. Maybe your army comes, and maybe it's too much for us, but it is all on you. Because if we can't protect the Earth, you can be damned well sure we'll avenge it.
Loki walks over to Tony, pointing his scepter.
How will your friends have time for you when they're so busy fighting you?
Loki walks with Tony and places the tip of the scepter over his heart. It clinks against the art redactor.
This usually works.
Well, performance issues, you know.
Loki grabs Tony by the throat and throws him across the room.
Jarvis, anytime now.
Loki grabs Tony again.
You will all fall before me.
Jarvis, deploy!
Loki sends Stark crashing through the window and plummeting toward the ground.
Deploy!
Behind Loki, the Mark 7 suit goes rocketing past and out after Stark. Exterior Stark Tower continuous day. It catches up to him and, locking onto the bracelets, attaches to him and unfolds to a full suit. Tony manages to stop his fall moments before he hits the ground and flies back up at Loki at the window.
And there's one other person you pissed off. His name is Phil.
Iron Man fires a repulsor blast at Loki, and he is knocked down. Meanwhile, the device is powered up and shoots a stream of blue energy at the sky, which opens into a portal where the Chitauri army waits. The hordes of aliens begin to fly through. From inside the Iron Man helmet,
right, army.
Exterior skies. Iron Man speeds toward the incoming army, shooting at them. Chitauri fire back at him. He fires more blasts, spinning out of the way, dodging the exploding debris. Iron Man continues flying higher. Bam! He's hit by a Chitauri hovercraft. He rights himself and releases mini missiles at the Chitauri, blowing them up. Exterior streets of Midtown Manhattan. The citizens get out of their taxis and vehicles, looking to the sky. They run for their lives as the Chitauri come toward them, blowing up cars, buildings, and the streets. Exterior outdoor cafe. The Chitauri fire at the restaurant. Waitress and her co-workers are left outside. They duck and take cover from the shots. When they get the chance, they take off inside the cafe. Interior cafe. The waitress and her co-workers and customers look out the window at the destruction that the aliens cause. Exterior Stark landing pad continuous. Loki walks out onto the pad, his Asgardian armor materializing as he looks over the chaos below. Suddenly, Thor lands lower on the platform.
Loki, turn off the Tesseract or I'll destroy it.
You can't. There is no stopping it. There is only the war.
So be it.
Loki leaps at Thor and the two begin to fight. A blast from Loki's scepter sending one of the letters of Stark falling to the ground. Exterior streets of Manhattan, Midtown Manhattan. Civilians are running for their lives, screaming. Several police cars show up. The police sergeant and a young cop step out of their car where they look up at the Chitauri. Exterior New York City skyline day. The Quinjet flies towards Stark Tower, which is beaming the blue stream to the sky.
Stark, we're on a...
Inside Iron Man helmet.
3 heading northeast.
What, did you stop for drive-through? Swing that park. I'm going to lay him out for you.
Exterior Stark Tower. Iron Man flies fast, leading a troop of Chitauri past Stark Tower, where Thor and Loki are still fighting with each other. He flies around the building, takes a sharp turn, causing some of the troop to crash. Interior cockpit Quinjet. Barton and Natasha are piloting the plane. They release the cannon gun. Iron Man flies past them at high speed and they release continuous fire at the troop of Chitauri in front of them. They fly through the smoke and up to Stark Tower. Inside the helmet.
Sir, we have more incoming.
Fine, let's keep them occupied.
Exterior Quinjet, skies of Midtown. The Quinjet comes around the building, blasting the army who are firing at them. One of the wings are grazed by Chitauri gunfire. They slow as they come to the exterior Stark Tower, where Thor smashes Loki's head into a glass on the catwalk of Stark Tower. And they still fight. Inside the Quinjet cockpit.
No.
I see him.
Back to scene. Loki spots a jet. He throws Thor to the floor, then blasts one of the jet's rotor blades with his scepter. It catches fire. Thor sees, angry, charges Loki, and tackles him as a Quinjet falls to the ground. Loki and Thor throw punches. Inside the Quinjet, Natasha and Barton hold on for their dear lives. Cap grabs a hold of the roof as a plane grazes buildings and crashes to the street. Natasha and Barton remove their headsets, open the ramp, and Cap and them exit the jet. Exterior overpass below Stark Tower continuous. Oh, you're muted.
We got to get back up there.
They run onto the overpass, looking up at Stark Tower. They freeze as they see a giant armored Leviathan, a warship of the Shatari, flies through the portal with more warriors. The warriors jump onto the side of buildings and into the buildings where they shoot civilians.
Dark, are you seeing this?
Seeing, still working on believing.
Inside the helmet,
Where's Banner? Has he shown up yet?
Banner?
Just keep me posted.
back to scene. Iron Man flies after the Leviathan.
Jarvis, find me a soft spot.
The Leviathan tears through buildings, roaring. Exterior Stark Tower, landing pad. Thor holds Loki down and gestures to the chaos in Manhattan below them.
Look at this. Look around you. You think this madness will end with your rule?
It's too late. It's too late to stop it.
No, we can together.
Loki pauses and slips a knife into his hand and stabs Thor.
Settlement.
Thor gets back up and lifts Loki, then drops him. Loki rolls himself off the edge of the building, only to land on one of the flying Shatari crafts. He flies off with a troop of the Shatari. Exterior overpass below Stark Tower, day. Barton and Natasha are crouched behind a taxi cab. Cap runs over.
We've got civilians trapped.
Loki flies over them on the flying crafts.
Loki.
Cut away to the streets. Loki and his following troop blowing up the streets. A Japanese family runs away as they are almost shot. A flying craft flies through a Dr. Pepper truck. Loki and the troop come to a busy street, the one where the young cop and the police sergeant are at, and blow up cars. The police and civilians their lives. Back to the overpass.
They're fishing a barrel down there.
Natasha stands and fires both her guns at an incoming group of Shatari.
You got this. It's good. Go.
You think you can hold them off?
Captain, it
Oh,
would
sorry.
be my
I
genuine
apologize.
pleasure.
Barton grabs an arrow and shoots it, hitting one alien in the head. The arrow quickly separates into more arrows, killing 3 Sutari aliens. Cap leads the other 2 fighting and jumps off an overpass, rolling onto a bus and into a street. Barton helps people off a bus as Natasha shoots her pistols at the Shatari. He runs over to Natasha and begins releasing arrows as she shoots.
Just like Budapest all over again.
You and I remember Budapest a little very differently.
Exterior streets of Midtown Manhattan. Cap runs through the streets toward a group of police shooting at the Shatari. He is running and jumping off of cars.
It's going to be an hour before they scramble the National Guard.
National Guard. The 2 duck to avoid a Shatari blast. Does the army know what's happening up here?
Do we?
Cap jumps on the car in front of them.
You need men in these buildings. There are people inside and they can be running right into the line of fire. You take them to the basement or through the subway, you keep them off the streets. I need a perimeter as back far as 39th.
Why the hell should I take orders from you? 2 Shatari warriors attack Cap. He fights them off easily, then turns back to the 2 men. The cops stand in shock. The police sergeant reacts and walks back to his men. I need men in those buildings. Leave those people down and away from the streets. We got to set a perimeter all the way down to 39th Street. Cut away to Iron Man. Iron Man fires a stream of ammunition at the Leviathan, which turns to follow him. From inside Iron Man helmet,
It noticed me.
back to Iron Man.
Yay!
Stark flies off and the Leviathan follows him. Exterior overpass below Stark Tower continuous. Barton and Natasha are fighting warriors up close. Barton trips one with his bow. He pulls an arrow and stabs it. Natasha is using her widow's bite on a warrior as she sits on his neck. Natasha picks up a Shatari weapon and is using it to fight off the warriors. One warrior tries to slice her head off and she slides, dodging it. She jumps to his feet and hits it in the head with a sharp part of the weapon. Barton knocks over another warrior. He grabs an arrow and shoots behind himself, killing another warrior. He marches over to another Shatari and battles him. Meanwhile, Natasha is taking on 3 warriors by herself. She shoots one, spins around, and snaps one in the neck. Barton is tackled to the ground by a warrior. He groans and stabs one with an arrow, then throws the warrior to the ground. Out of nowhere, another Shatari attacks him and kicks him onto the trunk of a cab. Natasha stabs a warrior with a Shatari weapon. She hits the other over the head. She spins to her knees, aims in one direction, and fires. Another Shatari charges. She spins the weapon in that direction and fires. She continuously fires as Barton fights more aliens in the background. Barton's head is slammed into the roof of a car. He's then thrown to the ground by a warrior. He's tired, but he continues to fight. Natasha takes on 2 more Shatari. They back her onto a taxi cab. They hit after her, but she moves her head out of the way. She gets her footing and tries to hit them with a weapon, but a warrior grabs it and throws her feet into the air. She lands on the car and screams in pain, breathing heavily. Barton shoots more warriors around them. They're becoming overwhelmed, but they keep on. Natasha regains her strength, runs to the aid of Barton by firing a Shatari as he slides and shoots at the Shatari. Natasha and Barton are becoming surrounded by Shatari, and Cap rejoins them, hitting Shatari out of the way. Thor drops down from the tower and kills Shatari with a bolt of lightning.
What's the story upstairs?
The power surrounding the cube is impenetrable.
Thor is right. We got to deal with these guys.
How do we do this?
As a team.
I have unfinished business with Loki.
Oh, yeah? Get in line.
Save it. Loki's going to keep this fight focused on us, and that's what we need. Without him, these things are going to run wild. We got Stark up top. He's going to need us to...
He stops, seeing Banner arrive on a motorbike. Cap and the others walk over, and Banner dismounts, surveying the damage.
So, this all seems horrible.
I've seen worse.
Sorry.
No, we could use a little worse.
Stark, we got him.
Banner?
Just like you said.
Inside Iron Man helmet.
Then tell him to suit up. I'm bringing the party to you.
Back to scene. Iron Man flies around the corner and toward the group, followed closely by the Leviathan.
I don't see how that's a party.
Iron Man draws the creature low, and it skims the road. Banner turns and begins to walk away toward the Leviathan.
Dr. Banner, now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry.
Banner transforms into the Hulk and punches the Leviathan, smashing it into the ground.
Hold on.
Iron Man blasts the missile at the creature, and it explodes. Barton ditches. Thor stands, taking the blast. Cap shields Natasha, and the Shatari cry out. 360 spin. The Avengers stand in a circle. Hulk roars. Hawkeye knocks an arrow. Thor readies Mjolnir. Black Widow loads her gun. Captain America stands ready, and Iron Man hovers above them, landing next to the Hulk. Loki looks down from above.
Send the rest.
The Avengers look up, watching as more Leviathans and hundreds of warriors fly past through the portal.
Guys?
Call it, Captain.
All right, listen up. Until we can close that portal up there, we're going to use containment. Barton, I want you on that roof, eyes on everything. Call out patterns and strays. Stark, you got the perimeter. Anything gets more than 3 blocks out, you turn it back or you turn it to ash.
Want to give me a lift?
Right. Better clench up, Legolas.
Iron Man grabs Barton and flies him up to the top of a building, then flies off.
Thor, you got to try and bottleneck that portal, slow him down. You got the lightning, light the bastards up.
Thor swings Mjolnir, flying off.
You and me, we stay here on the ground. Keep the fighting here. And Hulk?
Hulk turns around, facing Cap, who points at him.
Smash!
Hulk grins, then leaps off, taking out dozens of warriors that are on the sides of the building, grabbing them, smashing them, throwing them. Hulk leaps across through the air and slaps the flying craft out of the air. Exterior top of the Chrysler building continuous. Thor lands at the top of the Chrysler building and summons a bolt of lightning. He sends it shooting out toward the portal, taking out warriors and Leviathan. Interior, the bridge carrier continuous. Fury is at his command center watching the news footage. Hill approaches Fury. Sir, the council is on. Exterior top of a building continuous. Barton atop a building fires relentlessly at Shatari.
Stark, you got a lot of strays on your tail.
Exterior streets of Midtown Manhattan. A troop of Shatari warriors are following Iron Man as he flies above the streets. Inside the helmet.
Just trying to keep him off the streets.
You get an intercut between Barton and the inside of Iron Man's helmet.
Well, they can't bank worth a damn.
Barton shoots at Crafts. He misses, shooting behind his back without looking, but the arrow hits another craft, causing it to explode.
I will roger that.
End intercut. Iron Man flies by Hawkeye, who fires at the crafts, blowing them up. Iron Man swerves behind two crafts and fires at them. He continues, taking a series of quick turns as the Shatari drop, and crash or follow. Inside Iron Man helmet.
Oh, boy.
Back to scene, Iron Man goes flying through a tunnel and turns tightly at the end, sending the last few crafts crashing into a building. From inside the Iron Man helmet.
Nice call. What else you got?
Well, Thor's taking out a squadron down on 6th.
And he didn't invite me.
Interior office building continuous. Elsewhere, a Leviathan approaches an office building, and the inhabitants look on, scared. We hear fast and heavy footsteps. It's Hulk charging through the building, jumping through the window and pulling the creature away from the building. Exterior overpass below Stark Tower continuous. Natasha is going to town as she fights a warrior. She's thrown upon a car. As the warrior is about to attack, Natasha uses her widow's bite on it, knocking him out. She grabs the Shatari gun and shoots him back. Someone lands behind her, so she quickly turns and aims, but it's Cap. She stands down and leans against the car.
Captain, none of this is gonna mean a damn thing if we don't close that portal.
Our biggest guns couldn't touch it.
Well, maybe it's not about guns.
You want to get up there, you're going to need a ride.
Natasha glances up, seeing the Shatari crafts fly past. She makes her way over to the other side of the overpass.
I got a ride. I could use a boost, though.
You sure about this?
Cap readies his shield in front of him.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Natasha runs at Rogers, who uses his shield to boost her up. She grabs onto a passing Shatari vehicle. Cap looks up as she flies off in the distance. He looks to his right, and there are more warriors coming. Cut away to Natasha on a flying craft. Natasha climbs aboard the craft, pulls a dagger, and stabs a warrior. She spins kicks him off the craft. She makes her way to the other one and uses him to control the vehicle.
Turn! Turn! Ah!
Following shot, two crafts come up on Natasha, firing at her. She swerves to avoid them. The crafts are blasted away by Iron Man, who fires at them, fires away a fleet behind him. Iron Man takes a turn, coming up on the overpass, where he knocks Shatari aliens over and lands by Cap, who is fighting and kicking Shatari. Cap lifts his shield. Iron Man reflects a repulsor blast off the shield, taking out the surrounding warriors. He then flies up the side of a building, hitting more warriors, at the top of which Barton fires into the head of Shatari. Two blasts are fired at him. He ducks and returns a shot by firing an arrow. The arrow hits the pilot of a craft, which falls and gets hit by a Leviathan. On the creature is the Hulk, who is fighting off warriors. Thor then lands on the same creatures and takes on warriors with Hulk. When Hulk breaks a piece of the creature's armor off, Thor uses Mjolnir to summon lightning and drive the metal into its head. The creature crashes to the ground, landing in the interior of Grand Central Station. Thor and Hulk dismount the creature and stand together, breathing heavily. Suddenly, Hulk punches Thor out of shot. Exterior Stark Tower rooftop day. Selvig, having been knocked out when Tony tried to stop the Tesseract, awakens. He looks around. He's free from Loki's control. Exterior Grand Central 42nd Street Station. Army tanks and soldiers begin to arrive on scene. They shoot at Shatari, a little amazed at what is going on. Exterior overpass below Stark Tower. Cap is on the ground, holding off with Shatari's weapon. He pushes a warrior off and onto sharp debris. As he stands,
Captain, the bank on 42nd. Past Madison, they cornered a lot of civilians in there.
I'm on it.
Cap walks off. Interior 42nd Street Bank. In the bank, a crowd of civilians are surrounded by 3 armed warriors. Cap jumps through a window and begins to fight. He snaps the neck of one and throws him into the pit.
Everyone clear out.
He's then grabbed by a warrior who he fights and breaks free. A grenade-like device goes off and it blasts Cap out a window and onto a car after his mask is pulled back from his face. He stands silently while police lead the civilians from the building.
Director Fury, the council's made a decision.
Interior bridge carrier continuous. Fury is talking with the World Security Council over his command center.
I recognize the council has made a decision, but given that it's a stupid-ass decision, I've elected to ignore it.
The councilman?
That was Tamir.
I can hop in if you want.
Sure, go ahead.
It's me. Director, you're closer than any of our subs. You scramble that jet.
Hill is breathing nervously, panicking as she listens and watches.
That is the island of Manhattan, Councilman. Until I'm certain my team can hold it, I will not order a nuclear strike against a civilian population.
Well, if we don't hold them in the air, we lose everything.
I'd send that bird out. We already have.
Fury hangs up on them. Exterior flying Chitauri craft day. Natasha on board a Chitauri craft. She is shot at from behind and turns to see Loki on another craft following behind. He continues on toward the building Barton is at.
Oh, you! Hawkeye!
Exterior top of a building continuous. Barton sees her coming in the distance.
Nat, what are you doing?
A little help?
Barton knocks an arrow waiting for Natasha and Loki to come past.
I got it.
Barton aims and fires. Loki catches the arrow inches from his face and looks first at it, then at Barton, smirking. Then the arrow explodes, sending Loki crashing onto the platform at the top of Stark Tower. End intercut. Natasha jumps off the craft. She flips in the air, landing onto the exterior Stark Tower rooftop, where she rolls, sticking the landing. She flips her hair back. Exterior Stark Tower catwalk. Loki looks up at Romanoff when Hulk leaps up, grabbing him and throwing him through the windows of the penthouse. Interior the penthouse Stark Tower, Hulk roars and moves toward Loki, who gets to his feet.
Enough! You are, all of you, beneath me. I am a god, you dual creature. And I will not be bullied
Hulk
by...
grabs Loki by the feet and smashes him on the floor repeatedly, boom, 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 and throws him aside and walks away.
Puny god.
Loki whimpers in pain. He's been beaten into submission. Exterior Stark Tower rooftop. Natasha walks toward the Tesseract.
The scepter.
Natasha turns and walks over to Selvig.
Doctor?
She kneels.
Loki's scepter. The energy. The Tesseract can't fight. You can't protect against yourself.
It's not your fault. You didn't know what you were doing.
Well, actually, I think I did. I built in a safety to cut the power source.
Loki's scepter.
It may be able to close the portal, and I'm looking right at it.
Selvig looks down to the platform below where Loki's scepter lies dropped from where Hulk took him out. Exterior, above the streets of Manhattan, Thor is aboard a craft, fighting Chitauri. The craft swerves when a Leviathan crashes through a building, followed closely by Stark, who is shooting at it with lasers. On Iron Man.
Sir, we will lose power before we penetrate that shell.
Iron Man pulls away from the Leviathan. He flies fast. Inside Iron Man helmet.
Jarvis, you ever hear the tale of Jonah?
I wouldn't consider him a role model.
Back to scene. Iron Man's knee plates open, pushing out blades. He's heading directly toward the creature's mouth, and he flies through it, blowing up the creature's insides and out the tail end. He crashes to the ground, but gets to his feet, only to be shot again by warriors. Exterior, top of a building continuous. Barton is attacked by warriors on the roof. He reaches for an arrow, but his quiver is empty. He instead uses the bow to fight them off. Looking up at the sky and seeing hundreds of approaching flying crafts, he pulls a single arrow from the body of a Shatari and changes its head with a push of a button on his bow. In slow motion, the Shatari fire, and Barton leaps off the building as it explodes, twisting in midair and then firing the arrow. Its head opens up into a grappling hook, which attaches to the side of a building. Barton swings from the wire still attached to his bow and crashes through a window into the lower floor of a building. Exterior building roof, continuous. Hulk is being attacked by Shatari warriors. He throws them off, and then turns his attention to the sky, where dozens of crafts are flying over him, and roars. They all fire at once, and Hulk is encompassed in smoke and flame. He roars. Interior fighter jet continuous. A jet is being lifted from the hangar and onto the deck.
Director Fury is no longer in command. Override 7 Alpha 1-1.
7 Alpha 1-1 confirmed. We're go for takeoff.
Interior bridge carrier. Hill notices something on her command center. Sir, we have a bird in motion. Fury runs onto the bridge. Anyone on the deck? We have a rogue bird. We need to shut it down. Repeat, takeoff is not authorized. Exterior deck carrier continuous. Fury runs onto the deck with a missile launcher and fires, taking the plane out. The second jet takes off, and Fury lifts his gun, but it is too far. Interior passage to deck carrier. Fury closes the door to the deck.
Stark, you hear me? You have a missile headed straight for the city.
Exterior street, Midtown. Iron Man is down on the ground.
How long?
Inside Iron Man helmet.
3 minutes, max. Stayload can wipe out Midtown.
Jarvis, put everything we got into the thrusters.
Back to scene.
I just did.
Iron Man blasts away warriors and flies off elsewhere. Exterior fighter jet continuous. The jet fires a nuke toward the city and turns around.
Package is sent. Detonation in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Mark.
Exterior New York City skyline day. We dolly in on the chaotic and destructive city. Exterior street continuous. In slow-mo, Cap and Thor catch their respective hammer and shield. Cap and Thor turn and fight off Shatari warriors. Cap is shot in the ribs and drops to the ground. Thor sends a car rolling towards some of them and then throws Mjolnir into the other way. He helps Cap to his feet.
You ready for another bout?
What, you getting sleepy?
Exterior Stark Tower rooftop. Natasha has retrieved Loki's scepter, and Selvig is setting up his equipment. He points to the device.
Right at the crown.
Natasha begins to push the spear through the barriers around the cube. It's hard to break.
I could close it. Can anybody copy? I could shut the portal down.
Exterior street continuous. Steve hears and reacts.
Do it!
No, wait.
Stark, these things are still coming.
Inside Iron Man helmet.
A nuke coming in. It's gonna blow in less than a minute.
Exterior Verrazano Bridge. Stark flies toward the missile, following closely behind it. Inside Iron Man helmet.
And I know just where to put it.
Back to scene. Iron Man grabs hold of it as he begins to redirect it toward the city. Inside Iron Man helmet.
Stark, you know that's a one-way trip.
Save the rest for the turn, Jay.
Sir, shall I try Miss Potts?
Might as well.
Exterior Stark Industries private jet. A plane is slowly flying through the sky. Interior Stark Industries private jet. Pepper is watching the news with 3 others.
Streets in New York City have become a battleground. The army is here trying to contain the violence, but clearly it is outmatched.
Her phone starts to vibrate, but she ignores it. Interior bridge carrier. Fury and most of the other workers are watching the same report.
Billionaire Tony Stark's Iron Man.
Exterior below Stark Tower, a series of shots. Iron Man flying in with a missile. Inside Iron Man helmet, Tony is thinking hard. And hold, as Iron Man flies by, Thor and Cap look to the sky. Iron Man redirects the missile, barely missing Stark Tower, and pushes it up toward the portal. The rest of the Avengers look on. Interior bridge carrier, everyone on the helicarrier cheers in excitement. Fury smiles. Exterior space. Iron Man lets the nuke go as all the lights in his suit go out.
Sorry, Miss.
He watches as the missile hits the Shatari mothership and it explodes. Cut away to Earth. The Shatari warriors collapse and the Leviathans fall from the sky. Thor and Cap look around as they do. Back in space, Tony's eyes close as he falls slowly toward the portal. Exterior Stark Tower rooftop. Natasha stands waiting.
Come on, Stark.
Cut away to Cap.
Close it.
Back to scene. Natasha plunges a scepter into the heart of the device. Just as the portal closes, Tony falls through back to Earth. The Avengers look up and see Tony reappear on Cap and Thor.
Son of a gun.
Iron Man plummets to the ground.
He's not slowing down.
Thor prepares to fly at Stark and catch him when the Hulk grabs him out of the air, slides down the side of a building, and crashes to the ground in front of Cap and Thor. Hulk throws Iron Man off of him, and Thor and Cap run over. Thor pulls off Iron Man's faceplate, and Cap listens for a heartbeat. When he sees the arc reactor is not glowing. Suddenly, the Hulk roars and beats his chest. Tony, shocked, gasps and opens his eyes, looking around.
What the hell? What just happened? Please tell me nobody kissed me.
We won.
All right. Hey, all right. Good job, guys. Let's just not come in tomorrow. Let's just take a day. You ever tried shawarma? There's a shawarma joint about 2 blocks from here. I don't know what it is, but I've always wanted to try it.
We're not finished yet.
And the shawarma after?
Interior penthouse, Stark Tower continuous. Loki crawls over to a stair and turns to see the Avengers surrounding him. Hawkeye has an arrow aimed at his face. Natasha is holding his scepter. Hulk growls.
If it's all the same on you, I have that drink. I'll have that drink now.
And we change narrators to Karen.
Exterior Central Park, New York skyline, early evening. We slowly dolly over Central Park, pulling toward the city of New York.
Despite the development,
Interior, dark room, carrier, continuous. There is a montage of shots from a television news. The dialogue speaking.
despite the devastation of what has been confirmed as an extraterrestrial attack, the extraordinary heroics of the group known as the Avengers.
It's really great knowing they're out there, you know? That's someone's watching over us.
I love you,
Oh,
Thor.
I just don't feel safe with those things out there.
It seems there's a lot they're not telling us.
Superheroes in New York? Give me a break.
These so-called heroes have to be held responsible for the destruction due to the city. Done to the city. This was their fight. Where are they now?
Exterior, Central Park, continuous. The Avengers and Selvig all walk to the center of a footbridge. Tony is carrying a briefcase. Thor has Loki in a muzzle and handcuffs. Barton, Natasha, Banner, and Steve walk from cars.
Tough questions are being asked about the Avengers themselves, their sudden appearance, and equally sudden disappearance.
What? That this is all somehow their fault?
Interior, dark room, carrier, continuous. On Fury Street is the waitress talking on CNN.
Captain America saved my life. Wherever he is, and wherever any of them are, I would want to say thank you.
On the 4 screens above are the council members.
And where are the Avengers?
I'm not currently tracking their whereabouts. I'd say they've earned a leave of absence.
And the Tesseract.
Cut away to Central Park. Selvig takes a glass cylinder out of a truck. Tony opens his case, which is on the ground. Banner holds the cube with some tongs and puts it in the glass cylinder Selvig has. Over this footage...
The Tesseract is where it belongs. Out of our reach.
Back to scene.
That's not your call.
I didn't make it. I just didn't argue with the god that did.
Cut back to Central Park. Thor is smiling as he shakes hands and says goodbye to Selvig.
So you let him take it.
Loki is bound and gagged in the muzzle. He is mad. As he looks upon Natasha, she whispers something into Barton's ear that makes him smile.
And the war criminal Loki, who should be answering for his crime?
Oh, I think he will be.
Thor holds the cylinder that has the Tesseract in it. He gestures it to Loki, who grabs one end of the cylinder, and Thor has the other. He nods to the others and twists the device, which lights up, and the two vanish into the sky as the group looks on. In front of Tony's new car, Steve and he shake hands.
I don't think you understand what you've started.
Natasha takes a duffel bag out of the back seat of a S.H.I.E.L.D. car. She hands it to Banner as Barton heads to the driver's seat.
Letting the Avengers loose on the world, they're dangerous.
Banner and Tony get into his new car and drive off.
They surely are. And the whole world knows it.
Back to Dark Room with Fury.
Every world knows it.
Was that the point in all this? A statement?
Cut away to Steve. Steve is riding a motorcycle. He smiles.
A promise.
Back to Fury. The council signs off and Fury exits the room.
Sir, how does it work now?
Interior bridge carrier continuous early evening. Hill and Fury make their way across the bridge while talking.
They've gone their separate ways, some pretty extremely far. We get into a situation like this again. What happens then?
They'll come back.
They reach the air deck.
Really sure about that?
I am.
Fury looks out over the helicarrier.
Why?
Because we'll need them too.
Hill nods in respect. She turns and walks back over to the bridge and takes a folder from a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. Fury stands proud on the air deck. Interior, penthouse, Stark Tower, continuous. Pepper and Stark are looking at plans for a new tower. The camera slowly pulls out. Exterior, Stark Tower, continuous. The huge Stark on the side of the tower has been destroyed, save for the letter A. Cut to black, credits. Do I just keep doing?
Yep, there's a cut scene.
Okay. Exterior, unknown area of space. The other kneels at the feet of another alien.
The humans. They are not the cowering wretches we were promised. They stand. They are unruly and therefore cannot be ruled.
Disembodied figure in a chair stands. The other bows like he is in pain.
To challenge them is to court death.
Disembodied figure turns and smiles, revealing himself to be the Mad Titan himself, Thanos. Credits roll. Interior, shawarma joint, day. The Avengers are sitting around a table, eating, stuffing their faces. They are silent. No one makes a peep. The workers are cleaning up this destroyed place. The place is silent. Fade black. The end.
Woo, we made it!
We did it! Yay!
Yay!
Everybody was so good. That was really fun.
I want shawarma now.
I've only seen it once, and shawarma is wonderful.
Yes, I eat shawarma all the time. It's so good.
In a Lebanese restaurant, so they gave us free shawarma all the time.
Yay!
Nice.
Kat, thanks for getting us all together to do this. This was super fun.
Yes,
I
It was
just lived
super
down the
fun.
street from a nice shawarma place, actually.
Okay, you guys, I'm going to bed. Nighty
Yep.
night.
Yes, it was nice meeting all
Take
of you.
care.
I'm going to go to
Alright.
bed because it's getting late.
Yeah, go.
nice meeting
Thank
everyone.
you so much.
That was fun.
But I'm glad I made it.
I'm glad you made
Me
it.
too.
We're all-
Yeah.
I'm so
I've
glad
missed
I got to
this.
meet so many people.
Yeah, I miss
Have a
you,
good night.
Heather.
Have a good night.
Take care.
Night.
Cool.
Ah.
Wow. That's
a
a
fun
really
time.
good script.
Yeah.
When
That
I
is
was
a
trying
really,
to-
really good script.
It is. I said the one line where it's like, "Oh, I have an army," and then the whatever Iron
We have
Man's like,
hope.
"Oh,
We
I
have
have a
hope."
Hulk." All I could think of after that was, I don't know if you know the meme where it's like, "I got a jar duck." That's what I thought right after that, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, that's not what the actual line is." But
That's funny.
That
We were
is.
talking beforehand, because you weren't here yet, Ben, but we're talking
Mhm.
about a friend of mine also has a Marvel podcast,
Oh, nice.
and I got to guest star on it last year, and the focus of that episode was this Avengers movie specifically.
Sweet.
And it's just so fun, you know, with friends to just be going through each scene and talking about, like, you know, the cheesiness of like the, you know, well, it's a door. A door's open both ways.
On this end, yeah.
Yeah.
All that stuff. I've seen
it's
this
so
movie.
fun.
I had to watch this movie about 25 to 30 times.
Oh
Not
man.
because I'm a huge Marvel fan, though I am a fan, but because of my work. I used to work
Right.
in quality control for movies. So they're like, watch the 3D version, watch it with Arabic subtitles to make sure that the subtitles pop up at the right time.
Oh my gosh.
So I
Nice.
ended up learning it so much backwards and forwards that I was like, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm never going to rewatch this again. So I don't know why I signed up for this, but it was nice, you know, maybe 10 years later for me to like, oh yeah, I remember this part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you did.
Yes.
Yeah, it was funny actually. I was like kind of purposely going in and out of the Russian because Natasha does she did grow up in America, but she does also have the, you know, the Russian accent.
You did more
So
than Scarlett Johansson did, so.
Yeah, that's
thank
true.
you. I'm also terrible at it. I'm working really hard at getting it right. But yeah, I was making the conscious choice that there were some times where the accent would slip in and out though. On
It's okay. At
purpose,
least it's
so.
not Scarlet Witch where she had an accent for one movie and then all of a sudden her accent
Oh,
just
she had no
magically
accent.
disappeared.
Yeah, it's weird.
And then they mentioned it in the show. They're like, yeah, where'd your accent go? Like, I love when shows are self-aware.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes. It's pretty funny. I love
So-
self-aware shows.
So one of my suspicions on this copy is that it might be actually somebody transcribing it more
That's
than the
what I think
actual
it was.
script because of the amount of typos as well as a few of the there's way too many typos for something
Yeah.
that seems professional. And then I would also suspect that Joss Whedon would have a lot more flowery descriptions rather than perfunctory descriptions of the
Yeah.
of the action, as well as the fact that I do know, partially from my work, but I do know of a lot of different deleted scenes that are just not in this at all. Everything here seems like it's exactly what's in the movie, and the way that the dialogue is cut up too, where it's just insert certain shots just seem like it's literally like, okay, this part happens on the screen, so I got to put this part in here. It's just it's kind of, it just felt more and more obvious as we went on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that same thing too because there was a lot of ad lib parts that they did, like the whole shawarma scene and and Stark talking about shawarma. That's all ad libbed, and so someone had to have taken it from the finished movie product, and then just transcribed it all to
And
to
there was also, I
to the
know
script.
in this sorry. I
No,
know in
go
the
ahead.
script, Tony Stark is like he wasn't originally planned to be eating a lot on the thing.
That's what I was gonna say. He was like the blueberries
they
were
brought
added
up
in
the
after.
fact that he like started eating blueberries or something in the one scene. I was like, he's not. That was technically not supposed to be in the original script.
They actually had sorry, it's funny because my headphones just went off. So I hope you guys can hear me okay. But there actually is a behind the thing where they were like, our DJ was like eating all the time on script, like that was or on the set. That was the only way they could keep him focused on things because he was still, you know, because as a addict, they you know, so there's a lot of things to keep his hands busy, and he would also just want to be in anything. So they're just like, here's food.
Yeah, I was curious if they were going to have the deleted scenes in because I hadn't had a chance to read through the entire script beforehand, but there was going to be longer sequences of Cap adjusting to present day, including meeting the waitress, whom he says later on in the script in the movie, and then Stan Lee has an earlier cameo where like he watches Steve interact with the waitress, and when the waitress leaves, Stan Lee turns to Cap and he's just like, "Ask for her number, you moron."
I love the deleted scenes for this movie. Like they're some of my favorites for Marvel films. I just think they're, you know, they're good without being like, oh, why did you cut this? But you're like, you can appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry, Ben.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I still think my favorite area I had today was definitely the banter between me and Thor. Me and Vicky were like when we were going back and forth, and I love that. That was still my favorite scene, I think.
I mean, the comedic timing of like you listen here, brother. I'm listening. Like when you talking.
I love that part. That was
It's
really
so good.
when I first saw that in the it made me laugh so much. That was the best part. It's like I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm a little obsessed with this movie. I'm a little bit of a huge Marvel fan, if that doesn't show already. So
I could tell you did Stark so great.
Oh yes, you did. And then you had the arc. You had the glasses, the arc reactor.
Yes, come on, arc
like,
reactor
oh my
going on.
gosh.
Yeah. No, Tony Stark is up there and one of my favorite characters in the Marvel franchise. He's not my favorite, but he's up there.
Who would you say is your favorite?
The god of mischief himself.
Of course, yes.
Everyone's favorite.
Yeah, he's great. If this group ever does Ragnarok, you'll have to message me because I'll be there immediately. I'll be there first and foremost.
You know.
Well, it'll probably be at least another year before we get to another Marvel movie.
That works.
But I think we should plan it for the next season. It would be good.
That would be good. Mm-hmm. So Ben, you said you had a chance to work on this movie. Were there, a lot of changes between the final script and the other earlier ones, or?
I was doing the quality control of the final cut, so there wasn't really much that I got to see that was that different, other than seeing the same deleted scenes that Tori's seen. So there was like some additional stuff with Loki and the other talking, and that's pretty much like. Is there anything else that I'm missing, Tori? I'm trying to remember what else there was.
No, just a lot of more extended sections and everything. I feel like a lot of the deleted scenes kind of help more with the ongoing theory that Loki has been manipulated and mind controlled by Thanos the entire time, because a lot of people go into that theory more instead of him working completely on his own, his own accord and all of that.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot more. I'm sorry, I was just agreeing with you. I'm like, that actually makes a lot more sense, because on his own, Loki is, yes, he's a chaos of agent, and yeah, he's got a lot of bitterness and a lot of resentment, but he actually doesn't hate Thor.
Yeah.
And the fact that he has so much animosity, and then you see like this shift, he just shifts more and more and more towards that kind of, like, it's almost like he's breaking free. And then when he during Infinity, when he directly like bulks Thanos completely, it's like he's finally gotten completely free, and that's why he kills him.
Well, and like he's like, when you were talking about with the extended scenes with the others, Ben, like there's so many moments where he's cocky, he's arrogant, but there's such a level of fear underneath it all for him, and the part that made it into the movie, when he gets slammed out of the like connection with the other, like that moment where he's by himself and no one can really see his face, you kind of see it of like, I have to do this or else my life is forfeit, not just, for power. And I think a lot of that kind of comes through in the fact that he just looks exhausted the whole movie. Like he's just constantly, strung out, baggy eyes, everything, because he's been basically captive for Thanos for so long, and now he's released in all of that. But, I also need to not be a Loki defender as much as I am sometimes.
There is that line too from Coulson where Coulson recognizes it too, where he's like, you lack conviction. And I always thought that was interesting when I first saw it, where I'm like, yeah, there's something up on this, and it's kind of cool that the guy who doesn't have a costume on is the one who sees through it.
Coulson is one of the most underrated characters in Marvel. Like, I don't think he gets enough love for just how, not just like adorable, but just how much he truly understands what's going on and behind the scenes.
Sorry, I don't think that's true. Because I remember the sheer rage. I saw this in theaters, and I remember the sheer rage of everyone in that theater when Coulson was killed.
They killed him?
Everyone. Yeah. People were pissed. They were mad. So I think
when it came out, I think like at the height of it, definitely it was like everyone, but nowadays people just forget that Coulson ever existed, and you're like, he's like the kickstart to the Avengers initiative, like he's the reason this all kind of, jumped into play. And
I love that they're one of those cut scenes at the end of the credits of one of the other movies where he's in the convenience store. A little funny thing happened on the way to Thor's hammer. When he's like in the convenience store and it's about to get robbed, and he's just like, Oh, sorry, just don't mind me here. Oh, here, I got a gun. I should probably just put it on the floor and yeah, go ahead, and then he takes all the bad guys out and the poor cashier's like, what do I tell the police? Taibo lessons really paid off, And it's like I love that scene. It was just he's just not the person you expect to be a hero. And he just does it nonchalantly and goes on his way. And it's just so Coulson. I love it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I also love, I always feel bad for Maria Hill anytime I see these movies. That woman's just strung out having to deal with all of this, and she doesn't get near enough appreciation from anyone but Fury for what she does. That woman's just running around like absolute mad woman.
Yeah, I had fun playing her today.
She's great.
I also love all of the Natasha scenes. They're pretty great. They're really fun. I love how it's like she's mad with fear. She's like, oh, she's so afraid, and really, it's all an act. She's not afraid of anything.
I really liked when she was like, she's like hurt bad, and she's like really down on she's not okay, and then she's like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm already gonna get up here, and I'm like, you
We're
are
okay,
like,
right?
yeah,
Good, yeah.
like, oh my gosh, Natasha, you need to learn.
I just love. She's like, I'm working. That's my favorite.
Yeah, that scene at the
idiot
beginning
is
is like
giving
one of
me
my
everything.
favorite. It's one of my favorite introductions of a Marvel character. Is just the whole I'm in the mid, she's the one tied up, and she's like, I'm in the middle of an interrogation. Could you not interrupt me when I'm trying to get through this? Yeah, it's beautiful. I think it was a good introduction for a new Banner too. The way they introduced him for Mark Ruffalo coming in as Bruce Banner. Because a lot of people were weird about that when it was announced that someone else was going to take over as Bruce Banner. So I think it was a nice segue in for him without being too jolty.
It's interesting to think of what could have happened if you had Edward Norton still playing Thor, or not Thor. I'm sorry, Bruce Banner. And I heard about how some of how he why they kicked him out, which was interesting. So
yeah,
but it was interesting because you wouldn't think that Mark Ruffalo would have worked, but he does, and he actually works really well.
Really well.
In some ways, better than Edward Norton.
Yeah,
I think he comes across best in that scene where they're talking about. Oh, pardon the kittens in the background. I don't know if you can hear all those crashing and banging, breaking
Was
of
that
dishes.
your
but
cat,
that's
by
what's
the
going
way,
on.
that was meowing and purring?
Yes, my cat meowing, all the breaking dishes. There are dishes broken on my floor right now.
Oh God!
Yes.
Oh no!
I'm pretty sure. But yeah, the scene where they're on the helicarrier and Banner is talking back and forth to Stark, and they're like, "Oh, finally, someone who speaks English." And Cap's like, "Is that what just happened?" But that's what I think the chemistry works really well.
I really liked it when it was Thor, and he's like, what's a monkey? And then he's like, I got the reference. Oh my.
That's such a big moment for Cap because there's so many references that he's
Finally,
like, I
something he
don't know
knows.
what's happening anymore.
I wonder how much of that is all Josh Whedon dialogue and how much of that is ad lib from the actors. It's
Right.
This script is impossible to tell because it is, like Ben said, probably very much a transcription because there is no date even on the script. And the actual script would have a shooting version or whatever, but that's not.
There's always a date, so
there's not one on this one, so it's
True.
Yeah. But because a lot of Josh Whedon scripts tend to be very character based and very dialogue based. I mean, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, look at all those episodes, right? Very campy and catchy and fun, and not necessarily high on the plot, but very good on the character interaction.
I think it's much more important for have good characterization, because when you do, everything flows together. If you understand because then the actors will understand the characters so much better. You can really read a character, it just comes to life. And I've read scripts where they're not good. They don't understand character, where people don't understand character. The writers don't understand characterization. It's not well written. And they all sound like one person trying to be clever. And it's awful. And then you're like, okay, well, all right, so and you have to ask her, like, what is this character's goals? Why are they doing this? And they're like, well, you have to figure that out. It's like, no, you have to have this written on the screen. The screenplay has to be written there. Characterization matters. And this is a good example of why characterization matters.
Well, and I think this leg of, I don't, for everyone who's like super versed in Marvel, like this stage of Marvel, from Avengers to like Endgame, was some of the strongest like character development, because that's why people, when they were in the theater seeing Infinity War and Endgame, they lost their minds, because a lot of people didn't go to see, I mean, yeah, we went to see like the fights and the battles and everything, but it was because we were so invested in what was happening with these characters. And this is a personal thing. It's not an opinion that everyone has, but I feel like some of the Marvel franchise has kind of lost that, which is why it hasn't been as successful as that leg was, because that leg was just so much character arc that started with this Avengers movie, so much building on top of and on top of. So when it gets to that final moment, you're just like, no one's safe because you've gotten so attached to everybody.
I mean, granted, there are really good characterizations in scripts and really good writing, and then it falls apart in execution. I was thinking how like one movie that comes to mind that's a really old movie is Spawn. I think Spawn, the writing of it, in the writing itself, had really good characterizations, but the execution of it was terrible. So you can have that too, and then it doesn't catch. But when you have the characterization, you have the perfect actors to get those characterizations, and they understand all of them, and then you have directors that really care and they have really good execution, that's when you see everything coming together. And I think that's what this Avenger did so well. No, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think that's what's like all of us can appreciate with film in general, is just the frustration as well as the appreciation of, because everything in the arts is so collaborative. If you have a bad writer and horrible writing, there's even the most talented actor in the world, can't make horrible writing absolutely amazing. And then the same for the other, you could be the best writer in the world, and if you don't have a great actor, there's not much the writing can do for you. So it's really hard when a movie doesn't get good reception, and you can't really come out and be like, it was the writing, it was the actor, because you don't throw people under the bus like that.
Well, there's also direction too, and direction.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
You have to have a director who knows how to direct, because I have been on shoots, the director doesn't know how to direct, and it's so bad. And these are all like little indie ones, but when I've been on those, and they're just awful when the director doesn't know their head from their ass, and it's awful. And you're like,
we'll have to look for that next week when
you don't know how to direct.
Or not next week, but 2 weeks from now, when we'll have The Goonies. So story by Steven Spielberg, script by somebody else, directed by a third person. But I know there's comments about how Spielberg was kind of like a co-director, even though not official on that movie. We'll take a look and see. The plot of this one was a little hard, because when I was trying to divide the script up into 5 acts, I'm like, Act 1 is easy, Act 5 is easy. It's like Act 3. I'm like, where the hell is what? It's like, and I finally figured out it had to be the really, really, really long Act 3, and that's when we took our intermissions right before Natasha talked to Loki, because that's when everything shifts. Right there is that sort of turning point. But it was so hard to go through all the different scenes to figure out where do you put these divisions in, plot wise. And it was some scripts are really easy. This was tough, because Act 4 is, if you want to think of this as a 5-act play, it's very, very short. It's just, we've lost the helicarrier battle, everyone's scattered to the 4 winds, we have a little tiny bit of reconciliation, and then we jump immediately into another big, long, huge battle. So it's that whole rising action thing. It kind of rises, dips a little tiny bit, rises some more, and then you have the final little epilogue. There's not a lot of downtime in here, except right before the helicarrier battle, and that's where all of the different characters are meeting and working out all their little differences of finding out if they can be a team or not. There's a lot of script devoted just to that.
I'm going to leave the discussion just because it's very, very late for me, and I need to go to bed. But it was awesome reading with all of you.
Thank you, Tori. I'm glad you
Take care.
could join
Thank
us.
you, Tori.
Yep.
We really should let Kat save her kitchen.
Yeah, still knocking cat food cans off of the counter, and
My
I try to
gosh.
bribe them to be quiet, and no, it didn't work. Because now there's some of the empty cans, and yeah, and someone left dishes up there, so we'll see that. Oh, there goes the
Great reading.
Okay, well, we're gonna go then.
Yeah.
Hey,
Good
wonderful
night,
rest of the night, everyone.
and hopefully we'll see some of
See-
you Goonies in 2 weeks.
Yes. See you
All
at
right.
Goonies in 2 weeks.
Yep.
See ya.
All right.
All right,
Good
bye.
night, y'all.
Bye.
Good night. Don't
Good night.
forget to shut off the recording.
It will come off automatically.
Good night.
Good night.